the group of riders that were testing for us and came up with this new project were not ideal. It's changing a lot of things coming to America, but at the same time, it's a nice challenge.
A year locked in for MXGP, so 2024. So 25 could be the first full crack at it.
Like I said, we only live once, so I gotta do it.
I met a gypsy.
Now, if you've been following the podcast recently, you would know that we're on a massive health kick as we get ready to take on World Vets at Glen Helen in November of 2023. Athletic Greens is not only an all-in-one formula that helps me just cover all my nutritional bases, it's also the first healthy habit that I have that starts every single day. AG1 is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients of the highest quality that are able to offer gut health support, mood support, can affect your energy each day, and contribute to overall healthier looking hair and skin. Bang, we're live, just like that.
Or like this?
That's it.
Ah, all right, it's easy.
Just lock in, we're good to go. Jorge Prado, the new world champion, the 450 world champion, Jorge Prado, joins us on the podcast, mate. I'm stoked that you're here.
Yeah, we've been talking about this long time. I think, I saw you came to Arco, and I was talking to you at the Red Bull station, and I was like, yeah, I should come in the podcast. I think it's interesting.
Well, we had a couple times where we almost got it done, and then just schedule and like getting to the studio hard. And you were in Spain and then in the Netherlands. So it's quite hard to get, but as luck would have it, you're in America training some Supercross.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it should be easier to, let's say, fix this in Europe, but I need to come to America to come in the podcast. So we are here in California. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's nice. I came in 2015, but this time it's totally different. Yeah. Obviously, from 2015 till now, I had 2 titles in MX2 plus MXGP title. So basically, my level it's way different. So I approach this in a different way too, and I'm enjoying it a lot. To be honest, a lot more than expected. Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess being Jorge Prado is probably pretty cool right now. Like it's probably a good time to be Jorge Prado, and I think that it probably just leaks over into being able to enjoy a lot of different things now.
Yeah, because I said it many times. My goal has always been to be world champion in MXGP class, and I got it done. So I feel like I have released a bit of that pressure off my shoulders, and I can enjoy my riding. I can enjoy a bit more just riding on my bike without thinking, I need to be careful to get, the title or whatever. It's done. I just need to focus on having fun. And while I'm here, I'm only 22, so I have so much time.
It's crazy.
Even if I want to come here next year or in 2 years, or 3 years, still young. So I trying to have fun and take it easy. I have time, so I don't want to rush things, but everything's going well. So it's a good time.
It's crazy to think that you're the world champion in the MXGP class at 22 years old.
Yeah, it's been, like if I can see it from different ways, because I've been already since 2020, my first year in MXGP, fighting actually for the title. In 2020, I entered the season with a broken femur, so I go into Matali, which was round 1 that year, and I didn't ride at all the 450. I passed from 250 in 2019 to 450 in 2020, and I think I rode 1 week and a half, something like that, before the first GP. So I didn't even test anything. I went straight to the race.
What bike did you like? What was the setting that you rode?
Because I did Nations the year in 2019 in Assen. So pretty much something that Tony was riding, plus my 250 setup, something in between. And I just go straight into Matali. And that was like 2 months and 1 week after my broken femur. So basically also no time to recover. And So it was a tough start into my 450 career, and another injury when the COVID came with the collarbone. And at the end of the year, I was third in the championship when I got the COVID, actually. And I was winning races. I won 5 races that year. So it's quite cool. And like I said, I in my head is like I've been always fighting for a title, but I had to wait till 23 to get it done. And it was the right time. I feel like it made me stronger all these years. I think I learned a lot. And also, I feel like this year, I still had so many, things that I can take for the future.
To improve,
like, this race I should have done this. Yeah. We improved this on the bike. Okay, maybe I can use that in the future. So there are so many things I learned this year by doing different ways, different things. It was just a good year today. I love it.
Man, it was
23,
cool.
It's so good.
It was cool too. Like we hadn't met before until Arco Trentino, and you just had such a cool vibe. Like you could see that you're a guy that really enjoys the time at the races, and you seem quite stress free and like a happy. Having a conversation, just random sort of stuff, and it's like I think for a person to be in the battle in that way and fighting for a title and to be one of the big stars of MXGP, like you really seem to just be loose and enjoying it.
Yeah, I think because I love the sport. For me, it's not work. It's just doing what I love. I don't have anything in the world that I love more than motocross. So I love riding my bike, and every time I go on track, I try to enjoy it and try to have fun, because this is why we started, no? And every time we come into a difficult times, or you're having troubles, you just need to think back why you start doing this thing. So I try to keep that positive vibe all year long, and it was good. I'm not really stressful at the races. Obviously, before the gate drops, then obviously you have those nerves and you want to do good, but I try to stay easy, relax. I like to talk also.
That's the Spanish way,
Yeah, in the Spanish way.
And did you feel the pressure at all through the season to be, the guy that everyone was kind of chasing? I think when, Jeffrey has some injuries, then all the eyes kind of point towards you, even though, I think it was very competitive with you and Jeffrey anyway, but does the pressure start to build? Is it hard to keep that smiley positive when it starts to get a little bit more serious? You know what?
It was weird this season, because I felt like the most...
Come forward a tiny bit closer.
Yeah, sorry. There you go. It was weird this season, because I feel like I didn't struggle, but I felt the pressure more in the last rounds, coming closer to Majora.
Yeah.
Especially the weekend of Majora, I was like, I need to make it happen. I don't want that something happens in between Majora and England and can't take the title in England. So those weeks were horrible. Turkey, around that area, oh man, this was tough. But I need to say, I got the red plate Argentina Saturday. So from the very first time. And,
I know.
And I was like, I just need to keep going. The season is so long, everything can happen.
Yeah.
Everything can happen. I can get injured. The other guys can get injured. I can improve. The other ones can improve. So I just need to keep doing what I know, and train hard, focus on my program, try to do everything the best as I can. And if I can't be world champion, it's because I'm not good enough. That's it. So I put that in my mind. Like, I will do everything 100%. If I'm not world champion this year, it's because I wasn't good enough. And I put that in my head. So I tried to take that stress away by thinking in that way.
Yeah.
And obviously with Jeffrey, we were fighting for, I think, 10, 11 rounds. He was still behind me, but we were going fast.
Yeah.
You had to use the head, and sometimes when you feel like you're going too fast, slow it down just a bit and push in a different place, and it's weird. And in that time, I didn't really feel the pressure, even though Jeffrey was the only guy back then that in the championship was really chasing me.
Yeah.
And then he got away because of the injury, and then I had that big points gap. And then everything changed. In the beginning it was all right, but then, like I said, coming to Majora, Turkey, those races, I felt the nerves. I felt MXGP. I would start thinking in the night like, oh, come on, this can be something big. My dream. I see my dream, but I'm scared, I'm scared, and I'm like, I just don't want to change anything. Like, I was hard. I only wanted to race. I didn't want to go riding on the training. I just wanted to race. But anyway, it's part of the game. You need to know how to handle also those nerves and bring that confidence into the race and be 100% when you need to be 100%.
Man, it's cool that you admit that, because I think like a Chase Sexton, like he won the title without it. Like he didn't even have to race the last race with the way that it went with Cooper and Eli, and I'm just like, dude, I ain't even getting on the bike. Like I'm just, I wouldn't be riding through the week. I wouldn't be riding practice. I wouldn't be doing a heat race. I'd just be like, you do the heat race to go straight to the main. That's it. Like just, I don't want to be out there. Like, but I don't think a lot of people would admit that, but for you to sit there and admit like, dude, I was so scared.
I was scared. I mean, I can't tell you I was relaxed and I was like, yeah, it's going to be fine. Obviously not. Motocross is such a difficult sport that everything can happen, and I know it. I've been getting injured quite often the last years, and sometimes you don't even know how. Like even a small crash and then something happens. Come on. It's like, why me? No, I had nerves. I didn't want to crash. I didn't want to go riding. I just wanted to stay safe. Yeah. And but anyway, I think I managed quite good in the way of like every time I go to the practice track, kind of like every time I go on the bike, I didn't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So it was more when I was not riding.
It's only off the bike.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. And I also try to go places where I have other teammates or someone that I can focus on, and I can, I will get you. And then I can have that race like mentality.
Yeah.
So I'm not like riding and thinking about other things. So I just try to focus as much as possible and train hard, because I'm world champion, but I still can improve. So I took it like that.
Did the 250 World Championships help you?
Yeah.
So you can draw on that experience?
Yeah. And I got this question, I think, a few weeks ago when I was in Spain. Last week when I was in Spain. And I think like my whole career helped me. Yeah. Because I've been the youngest world champion ever. Yeah. 10 years old in the 65 class. So the year after that, I got signed by Red Bull KTM Factory Racing Team. So
at 11.
My first year, 85 small wheels.
Crazy.
I had a factory mechanic that was coming with a Red Bull KTM Factory Racing van. So all eyes were on me since I was 11 years old. And that's something that people doesn't see, but every time I go to the gate, everybody wants to beat me because I have like factory stuff and I have the support and
then people can talk and they say, he's only this good because of the things that he gets.
He should be better. He should be winning every moto, every practice. Easy.
Come on, guys.
Easy. I'm coming.
I'm a kid.
And but no, it's like that. So I had to deal with the pressure since I'm 11 years old. Plus, my whole family went to Belgium. From Spain, they left everything behind, went to Belgium. So I have also the pressure of my whole family left everything. I think I need to deliver something too. So that pressure too. And then I passed into the 85s. 125, I got European champion. And it's already a championship where you have like, I think 7-8 rounds, European 125, it's something like that. And I've been fighting with for the title with guys like Renault.
Yeah.
Guys like Conrad Muse, Josiah Natsuke, he was second that year. So guys like that, and it all helped me. So I am 250, go into Assen MXGP, my first race, battling with Jeffrey first time. So all these moments helped me to get to MXGP and handle the pressure, handle the situation, and when it's time to race, go racing and be focused on just racing.
Do you ever get like sick of the pressure?
It's
because it can be a lot. Like even, I mean, for me, like I just doing this job, and you're always expected like you got to have a big gas. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, this is doing well. And you can get into this situation where you're just like, it's doing well because this is a lot of effort and this is a lot of pressure and this is hard. And sometimes I'm just like, oof, maybe just a normal, like sometimes the pressure, you're just like, it would be nice to be able to live a life where this isn't something you think about all the time. But
it comes to your mind. I think everyone, come on, we are not all perfect. We all don't think this is wonderful. And sometimes you're like, so much pressure. I would just be happy if I would do something else, just for a moment. Like you just feel the pressure. And it happens to me sometimes just before racing. It's like I feel the pressure of the race and I'm like, it's like, I don't know, it takes energy.
Yeah.
It takes, you're like, you want to go racing, but at the time the race comes, you're like, you feel the pressure.
Yeah.
And that's where I think you need to be mentally strong enough to turn it around. And come on, I've been waiting for this time all week long. I was riding and training to come here and perform good now. So let's do it. And then you try to turn it around like that. So, but yeah, obviously, we all feel the pressure. And the pressure of racing, it's something you can't get
in other ways.
In another way. It's weird because, especially, when you're MX2, your goal is to win MX2. And that's the biggest you can achieve at that time. Now I'm MXGP. I try to win MXGP. That's the biggest goal I have. So when you have a goal, you want to reach the goal. And the pressure is that you don't want to fail. That's what makes it hard. You don't want to fail on yourself because you want to reach the goal. I don't know if I explain myself good.
You are, yeah.
I'm Spanish, so my English it's okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's difficult to explain, and you don't want to fail on yourself. So then that's the pressure. You want to perform good, and
sometimes it's almost like winning doesn't matter as much as not losing. You want to not lose more than you want to win.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's more the deal. I think everybody hates losing. You want to win, but it's more about not losing than let's go for the win, It's like, I don't want to be second.
Yeah.
I want to win.
I get it.
It's weird. It's weird.
So who in your life has been the most important when it comes to the mental side to give you the perspective? Because you are young. Obviously, you compete your whole life, so I think you maybe learn your own ways to deal with things. But was there ever anyone that really taught you those kind of lessons?
I think in the mental side, it's hard because I think by experience, I think you need to find yourself and find the ways that you can talk to yourself and then do what you want to do. So I've been always very close with my dad because since I was a very small kid, he's been always with me. I've never spent so much time with another person that it's not my dad. He's coming to every single training, so every race. So I think also during practice, when we talk, we make a very good we have a very good communication between us, and I trust a lot my father, and so just by talking day by day, training, you build that confidence and also makes you mentally a bit stronger because you know your positives, you know your negatives. So sometimes when you are racing, you are thinking about, oh, I remember he told me that. Let's try to do it that way. So I think having someone close to you, it's very important just to feel safe.
You trust him?
Yes. When I go on track, I know if something happens, if I fall or if I make a crash or something, he will be there, the first guy. So I'm more relaxed, that I know someone is going to be there all the time, also in practice. If he lost maybe 1 or 2 trainings in all my life, he's always been there in every single training. So I'm more relaxed when I'm with someone. It's like this. I know many riders, the most of them, I need to say, they are quite doing everything by themselves.
Yeah.
I do everything by myself, and my father is with me. So it's one team,
Yeah.
We do it together.
What did he do before that you think gave him these skills to be able to help you the way that he has?
You know, he's not really. He's never been a motocross rider. He did motocross just for fun, but also trials. And before that, when he was in university, he was doing a lot of cycling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from cycling, he got that mentality of putting like 100% effort. Because in cycling, if you don't train,
all effort. Yeah.
If your legs are not strong, you're not moving. You know, it's not like motocross too, but it's in a bit different way.
Yeah.
So I think that mentality he got by doing those kind of sports like cycling, and really he was not professional, but he was on a good level.
Yeah.
And he was very strict with his diet and very strict with his trainings, and somehow I born from him, you know. So and training together every day, he kind of teach me always to give your 100% and do everything the right way, not just do things like that. No, do it properly.
Yeah.
And that helps you when you do your training in the good way. It makes you improve more than you just do training like that without thinking what you're doing. So I think my mentality comes a bit from my dad, and then obviously from my own experience from the years, from racing, normal life. Just
not a lot of kids want to listen to their dad though.
It's hard sometimes because I remember...
You would have seen kids maybe when you were younger where their dad tells them things and the kid just doesn't listen, doesn't care, wants to hear it from somebody else but not their dad.
Yeah.
I was maybe that kid sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard, right? When your father tells you you're not good, or, hey, that corner you are super slow.
Yeah.
Like my father, every time... he should be more like, hey, that corner you're slow, that corner you're slow, you're doing that bad, that rider is faster than you there, you should jump better there. And I'm like, sometimes like, and what do I do good, you know? At some point I'm like, then how it's possible? I'm like, imagine the time practice, I'm P3, how I'm P3 if I do everything wrong, you know? No, but the rest you're good, but in that corner you're slow, in that corner you're slow. So sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. And sometimes I'm P1. Yeah, but that corner you're slow, and that corner again. And it's hard because you expect to him, hey, super good, everything right, let's go for the motos.
Oh, yeah.
No, you got to improve. That guy's doing it better. So I think also to accept that you also make mistakes, and someone next to you can see those mistakes. He's only helping. He's not telling me I'm bad because
he wants you to feel bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He wants me to do it better. And I do it better then. You know, we try it together, and he knows also a lot. For example, he's coming to every training, like I said before. So he knows my limits. He knows how I ride and how good I can ride. Sometimes he's like, you can do that better. And I just need to push myself and concentrate myself to do it better. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, it's a cool relationship. And I mean, you can see there's some very successful young riders right now that have their family as the backbone. The Lawrence brothers, Brian Deegan. You know, there's a lot of good examples of when you get a relationship right, then you can really produce some good results.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's very important. Like I said, more for the safety, to feel safe, because they are always there for you in the bad times, in the good times. Doesn't matter. They are always there for you. So it's important.
And I think sometimes too, as a racer, like, I mean, I think it seems like with you, you've got a really great relationship with the team and with Red Bull and like the program. It seems very smooth sailing, but sometimes you need to have a person that's there for you and doesn't care about what the team wants, doesn't care about what the sponsors want, and then to not put you in the position to have to deal with that, you know, to have someone there like your dad that can have maybe some of the ugly conversations that you don't want to have because you need to keep your relationships. And I think that also is like a good thing to have, like someone that will enforce your boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, we've been also struggling sometimes, and it's not easy. Not my father and myself. I mean, we've been struggling with the rest, like you said. Maybe we're with the team, or because they were not, let's say, on top of the game. Yeah. The bike was not good enough. Last year was so hard.
New bike.
Completely new bike. everything was different than
and
the past
very
years.
different, very different,
very different. And it was hard because I was not feeling comfortable since day one, and I could see the season coming. Then the races go by and nothing was changing, and it was hard. And my father was seeing all that, and he was also pissed. Like, come on, the guys need to do something. The guys, the team, whoever, the group, they need to hurry up because the season is going by, and if we don't find something, we can't be competitive. So also, it's not easy. And
to have him there to be able to have those conversations and to be able to, it's almost like you have a team in yourself.
Yeah, that's important when you have like your family close to you. It's your team. It's like my father, it's my team. Like, he will never go with other rider, or it's my team 100%. And doesn't matter what happens, he's there. And going back to that, we were struggling, and he was seeing all that. So sometimes he had to, come on, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Let's go practice. And sometimes he was even more angry than me when we come back from training, because he sees that we are not getting anywhere. I had a very tough time last year. At some certain point, I was like, I think I forgot how to ride a bike or something.
That's wild, huh?
At one point, I was like, I think I'm doing something wrong. Because I think the people needs to understand that, like, I do everything for the sport. I do, like, I wake up and I train as hard as I can to be the best. And when they think it's my problem and they don't see their own mistakes, it's not good, because we are not getting farther. I'm already giving my 100%. And sometimes it's hard also for the rest to see they are making mistakes or they don't want to improve. But all right, luckily we figured it out for this year, and everything was working well and better. And I think we still have a room for improvement for sure. But last year was very tough, and it's like that. But hey, when you come from a bad year and you turn it around, means we have, the base to make bigger things. So, and if we go back to let's say a point where we are struggling, then we probably can get out again. So that's such a good point. And I mean, if you go through, like, you've been so blessed with amazing motorcycles your entire career. Like, every single year that you were on 250s, you were on the best 250 or among the best 250s. I need to say, when I was in 250, I was probably in the best bike. Probably not by far, but on the best bike, for sure.
And so you go through your whole career on the best bike, and then even on the 450, the old 450, that chassis was amazing. The laps, the time, the amount of, with the KTM group, you've got 3 teams all in America, you've got 3 teams in Europe, you've got teams all over the world that are gathering and sharing data, and it's all just being pushed. It's like Ducati and MotoGP. And
like before, also the privateer teams in Europe, they had also factory support. Some of them. So
you've got all these people.
Right now, I think for the past 2 years, I think no privateer team has almost factory support that I know. Well, you don't see many KTMs out of the factory KTM teams, like factory or Huskies or Gas. They are all the brands. But in the past, you had many teams with factory support, like, I don't know, suspensions. They were pretty much like ours. And those bikes were riding good. And the testing goes on. So we had such a big, like, data from everyone, like WP, KTM for the engines, whatever. We had so much data, and that old bike was very good. Was a very, very good bike.
And then to come into this season, or last season, on a new bike, and I mean, it would have been the first time in your career, I bet, that you didn't love the motorcycle from day one.
It's hard because every time something comes up and it's new, at the beginning you're like, let's see. But once you start kind of like getting again your own like rhythm and getting back to like good shape, and you're starting to push the bike, and you start to see that you need to change your style for the bike. it makes it only worse. You know, you need to be like how you call it, like you need to trust your style and your riding, and you know if you do this, it's going to work. And I couldn't use my riding style. I couldn't stand up anymore through the corners. I had to always sit and leg out, and I'm not riding like that. I can't ride like that. I hate it. So yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. The new frame, the new concept of the bike was hard.
What changes? Like, so I spent a lot of time on the old bike, and then at the moment I've been riding the new the 350 XCF. So it's not the full motocross one. It's like the one that's in the middle, but I've got motocross suspension and everything on it now. And I really like that bike now. Like, I really enjoy how that bike turns. And
the new bike.
The new one. But it's like, it's got a lot of hours on the frame. It's pretty tired in a good way.
To be honest, I think the new frame, it's very good for amateurs.
Yeah.
I think it's very good because it's easier to turn. I think just for a normal rider, like amateur and not GP maybe level, I think it's probably better than the old bike.
Really?
I think so. So, like, to buy the bike, I think it's a good bike. It's ready to race and it's good.
But for you guys, so the feedback that I would hear from people is that new bike when it first came out was just way too stiff compared to the old bike. So what ended up changing that made it better for you to where you go from 1 year struggling to the next year MXGP World Champion? Everything?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. We test a lot. Like I said, it was such a rough year. We got also a lot of information because I had to go through all the GPs, different kind of dirt, and we also test. And I gave a lot of comments, and at the end of the year, they took all my comments and they tried to figure out something. And we changed a lot from suspension to engine to frame. So, like,
no stone unturned.
Very small, like, things stay the same. And we got to a bike right now that I think we have quite a good base. So doesn't matter if I need to race sand or hardpack. The base is it's quite good. Like, I'm comfortable. I can ride like I want, and I think like I said before, we still can improve a lot. For me, I think I always said it's like the weight of the bike, it changed. Like, it felt like it's like way more in the front, and you need to turn a lot with upper body. Yeah. Where with the old bike, you can stand up a lot. It's like more like that, you know, like more in the rear end, and it's something that I like, to be honest. I think maybe the group of riders that were testing for us and came up with this new project were not ideal. And then other riders, ex-GP riders, that tried the bike and they start giving probably the wrong comments. Wrong comments, because I'm from the first time I go on the bike, I've been always saying the same. I didn't change my story, you know? Never. It's always the same. Yeah. So it's easy. I'm not blaming a bike for nothing. And probably those other riders that test the bike and said, yeah, very good. It was maybe to make other people happy. Yeah. And I don't like this. Yeah. And these other riders also blame the riders, like myself, for not being fit, you know? And I also don't like it.
Yeah, because you're fit.
I'm fit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's to be honest, I'm probably one of the fittest guys for sure in the GPs. For sure. Like, I can go first a lot. This year, I improve a lot. So this year, I could go full 35s. If I need to attack in the last laps, like I did in France, in the Nations 2 weeks ago, it's no problem. Other thing is, I can pass or not, because I'm not so good at passing. That's another story. But I can put the pressure in the last laps, no doubt, you know. So, but yeah, you can blame I'm not fit. If you blame me, I'm not fit, then we do something to make
we can do a test.
Prove, you know?
We'll do a test.
So I can prove I'm fit. Yeah. So yeah, you need also the right guys to test something and give the right comments.
Yeah, because that's a big problem. Like, in test riding in general. It's a problem in any job where you're getting paid to do something and people expect a result from you. Like I would always say, like when I was doing the filmmaking we'd do a lot of work for Red Bull, and we'd do this project and I'd be like, sick, stoked, this is great, I've done a good job. And then you end up on an email with like 45 people that you've never heard of them, and they're like, change this, change it. And I'm like, motherfucker, you have no idea what you're talking about, and you're just doing this so that you can say you did something towards this project. I'm like, fuck off, I don't need your feedback.
It happens
everywhere.
Also with us. You have people that you better say what you're doing. Like, it's better like step out of the way and let us work,
let me cook.
So but yeah, you cannot do anything. I'm a rider, and I get one bike. I try to make the best comments as possible to bring, let's say, my bike to 100% and ride it and try to win with it. So I know very good what's my goal, and then I hope the rest of the people around me, I hope they have the same goal, and that's it. Yeah. And this year I could see with some changes, like it was nice. Davide De Carli has been now our team manager.
Oh yeah.
And it's nice because he's young, and I know him since already since my 250 career. No, probably before 125s. And so I know him long time, but I've been working with him closely when I got into the Quali racing, and he brought me to do some trainings together, and we've been like doing gym and running together. So we have
good relationship.
A very good, and right now he's like one of my best friends. Like, he's a very good guy.
That's so good.
He's my team manager. So I know, but it's hard. It's hard because he has also a responsibility, and he also needs to follow some of the, let's say, lines they put on him to follow.
Yeah, so he's in between you and...
Exactly. Yeah. So he's a little bit in between, but he's been doing a very good job this year. I told him, come on, for 23, I want to change a bit everything. I want to go and do some more training in Belgium to ride more the sand. I did that. No problem. No, you want to do that? Let's go. I put a mechanic. Mechanic goes there with my mechanic, Matteo, my training mechanic. No, all year. Always focus on the training. Bike always perfect. So I loved it. And all right, we got into December. It was freezing. And I was riding in Bergen, -2 degrees, everything frozen. I was like, calling Davide, I think we need to go back to Spain. We need to go to Spain. All right, Matteo, put the bikes on the van, parts, everything. Tomorrow we go to Spain. I took the flight. He took the van. And 2 days later, I was riding in Spain. And that's cool when you're flexible.
Yeah.
And after that, I went back home, and we did some more riding in January in Spain, and back to Sardinia, and from Sardinia to Rome, and from Rome to Belgium.
I remember that's when we were talking a bunch where you were just everywhere.
I was everywhere, and then I go to France, and then back to Italy. So I've been doing more what I felt I had to do in that time.
Yeah.
If I had to test on hardpack, I would search something very good.
Yeah.
If I had to test in the sand, I will just search something very good in the sand. And we were very flexible. And that's also because we had very good communication in the team, because the team support me 100%, and because Davide did a great job on organizing everything. My mechanic was there all the time, fit to do everything, and we make the difference.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a huge difference to have the confidence in in a team, and to have people make sacrifices and to not take the easy option. The easy option is not to pack the van and drive to Spain.
No,
that's the hard option, and it's like to have a group of people that are behind you to do the hard option all year.
Yeah, all year long. We've been doing that. And it's nice because then you also feel a bit free, like if I want to go somewhere else, we go somewhere else. But obviously we do everything with the right mindset. We just don't go to Spain just because I'm Spanish, and No, because I knew I wanted to ride in that track to test the bike. I wanted to ride the other track to test the bike in the other type of dirt. So I knew we were coming from a rough year, and I wanted to make sure my bike was the best as I can coming to the season. So I had to test the bike everywhere. I just wanted to test everywhere. So I knew, okay, in this kind of track, we need to fix this. In this kind of track, it's okay. Then I think it helped me a lot. It was good. I was very happy. Very, very happy.
And the GPs, man, I think we're really starting to see over these last, I guess since kind of the Carmichael, Stewart, Villopoto era, that the MXGP riders have a clear advantage in motocross nowadays. Like, I think that there's a culmination of time that you guys do on pretty shitty tracks and pretty shitty conditions, and it's not prepped, and it's not like, maybe not so much fun at times.
Yeah,
but,
it's hard.
But the proof of the way that you guys have been able to ride motocross bikes in motocross is crazy. The level has just got so high.
It's getting, and you know what, like a few years ago, like if you go back to, I don't know, 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, I went to Belgium, more or less. In that time, not so many guys were living 100% in Belgium. You know what I mean? So if you go to a sand race, someone that was not Belgian, Holland, Dutch, or that's it, would not even be competitive in that race, in the sand.
Yeah.
Now, yes. Spanish guy can win, French guy can win, whoever can win in whatever conditions. So that means the level of the sport and motocross got so much higher and competitive. Also the trainings, I think over the years we got more professional with our trainings off the bike, but also with our trainings with the bike, So we raised that level of the sport, and right now we are going fast. Like, I feel like we have a very good level going around tracks with big bumps in a very good speed. The bikes also got better. Now you have so many brands, like factory brands in the GPs. 10 years ago, you didn't have some of the brands with factory support, And now, yes, like every brand has a factory team.
And there's going to be more.
And it's going to be more. So that makes it also nice, I think, for the sport. That means the sport, motocross, is growing, and I think it's nice. So it's, like you said, we are racing rough tracks, very, very rough. And you got to be strong. The bike needs to be good. And I think also in my case, for example, I told you before, one of my dreams has always been to race with Jeffrey and like this year, like face to face kind of.
Yeah.
And that's why I stay also so long in MXGP, and I didn't want to come over to America or something. I just wanted to race Jeffrey. But that gives me also the how you call it, like the motivation to train hard to catch him and to be and try to beat him one day. But that also raises the level, right?
For sure, because you're pushing him.
And for sure, I'm not the only one that thinks this.
Yeah.
So that makes the sport,
And then he's at home knowing that you're coming, and it's like, I think as headstrong as Jeff is, then he's thinking about you. Like, he's worried about your performance. He's worried about your starts. He's worried.
Yeah, starts.
Like that does push the level, because he's not thinking that he can just run over Jorge Prado. Like, that's not gonna happen. And I think that is leading to that effect that you're talking about.
Yeah, and now that I was thinking also, having now more factory brands, also more riders have the opportunity to be more competitive.
Yes.
And before, having less factory brands, you had to be in that team, or you were not as competitive. And right now you have many bikes that are good. So then the level, of competition, it gets higher. And going back to Jeffrey, he's been, I think, a motivation for everyone. Knowing, they call him the fastest guy on the planet, best sun rider ever. So, come on, if you have one guy like that in your championship, you want to beat him, right? Because if you beat him, then who are you then?
The best.
Yeah, you're the best then, right? So that's it. That's the motivation, right?
Yeah.
And I told Jeffrey, I always tell him when I see him, you are my motivation, you know.
That's cool.
That's because I've been living in Belgium, or not anymore, but back then I was when we moved to Belgium for 6-7 years, full-time Belgium, and Jeffrey was winning GPs and everything, and I was just a small kid, and that was my reference, you know.
Yeah. How much faster was he than you at Lommel when you were, like, say you were on a 250, he was on a 250?
Me, I was on a 250.
Like, say, like the first time you got on a 250, I'm assuming Jeffrey was still riding 250 class, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. Because, well, the first time I raced Jeffrey, it was in 2016. So my first year 250, I was just with the stock KTM in the Dutch
Masters.
It was not Dutch Master. It was ONK. It was like a regional. It was a different name of the championship.
Yeah.
And many other factory riders were racing back then too in the 250, and he was pretty much going. He was world champion 2016, right?
I think probably, yeah.
Yeah, and I was racing with my European bike and everything, stock. And I remember because I knew I've been always watching a lot Jeffrey, so I knew a few of his tricks. So in time practice, I stick behind him, and I knew exactly when he was going to pull the lap and everything. So I stick behind him, and he was P1, I was P2.
Yeah,
like not over a second, but yeah, you know, the third one was like 2.5 seconds or 3 behind us, you know, and that was the first time. And I obviously in the races I couldn't manage to follow, but then that was like, let's say half to 2016. But at the end of the year I did my first race in MXGP, well MX2 class, but in the World Championship, and then I got the factory bike for that race. So I start first in the Quali race,
as usual,
and he was second all the time, but he couldn't pass me, and he stayed too long behind. The sand was wet. Something happened to the bike. Too much sand. And the bike stopped. So I won my first ever race on MX2.
Against
Quali race.
Yeah, against Jeffrey.
And then on Sunday, we had so much rain. So much rain from Saturday to Sunday. The track was flooded. And on the second moto, they flooded a little bit. The track was like, because I was used to ride the sand, but not with holes like that.
Yeah.
But like a bit like lighter holes, and I start first again, and he was, I think, quite early second, and he couldn't pass me, and then obviously he go by, but then I pass him back. And I remember the first time he passed me, he kind of blocked me a little bit in the corner. We were in the same ride, and I touched his rear wheel. And he was looking back and then, what are you doing? He was fighting for the title. I was just one race. And then I remember I could pass him just in front of the tribune from Holland. We were racing in Holland. Oh man, it was crazy. The horns, everything, you know. And obviously he passed me back and he won the race. But I was third in my first ever MX2 race. And that was the first time I really raced Jeffrey. I was 15. And it was super cool. It was super cool because, like I said, he's been always a great reference for me. So it was nice.
Was it a surprise when you first saw him ride at like Lommel on just a normal day, and you were like, "Whoa, I don't know if I can go that fast," or did you always think if he can go that fast, I can go that fast?
I never knew. I was just 85, and he was going. Sometimes even he was riding sometimes with the 450 back then already. And he was going like full gas already with the 450. I'm like, this guy, why is he? I was thinking always, why is he not racing 450s?
Yeah.
Why? He's like wide open. And I remember I was riding one day after school in Deurne. It's like a track in Holland.
Yeah.
Quite sandy. And no one was there. Just myself. And then one guy came with a gray van, like a Vito kind of style, and there was a bike coming out, stock 450, but there was the number 84. I was like, yeah. But Jeffrey didn't ride. It was like off season. At that time, he should be like no bike. He started riding so fast, and the track was so wet. Cause that's why nobody was there. Me 85, and he was like 450 stock. wide open. I was like, this guy, it's crazy fast. Like, this guy, it's crazy. He shouldn't be riding. He go to the shop and he just took one bike because the team didn't really want him to ride, and he was riding, you know.
Man, you hear some stories. You hear some stories about old Jeff, just how gnarly he is. Just like whatever he wants to do, he does.
Yeah, I mean, I need to say also it's because he created that too.
Yeah.
Like, there are many guys that we train a lot too, but he has that different kind of personality, and he built that all around him. He's the best guy and the hardest, and when he gets injured, he gets back as soon as possible. But we all do that, really. We all do that. Like I said, I raced with 2 months and 2 weeks after the break of my femur in Matali. I go, I think 6 overall. My first ever 450 race without testing, no riding, just no feet out of the packs because I had pain in my leg. The Monday after the race, I couldn't walk around the airport. So, and I didn't get that kind of.
Yeah.
So it's also how you sell things, you know?
Yeah.
But he's been doing it great,
it's
no?
Smart.
That's why I'm also talking that like this with Jeffrey, you know? He's been always a reference.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool, and I think it's cool. Like, obviously, I've spent a fair bit of time talking to him and then talking to you, and there's 2 guys doing the same thing, winning the same title under the same organization. Couldn't be more different. Like, you are very different people.
Yeah, I mean, we are Spanish and Dutch. Come on, it's even just being Spanish and Dutch, it's already different.
Yeah.
And then you have different kind of people, right? So, but I think people says, you and Jeffrey, you're so different. But I think in many ways, we come up very close in many things, you know? I think like training-wise, I'm not riding 5 days a week, but I'm riding a lot too. And I'm training a lot too. And maybe in a different way, but the amount of training that I do, it's a lot. It's a lot. And the way of... I think approaching to a race and everything, this is a bit different. He wants to be P1 in fair practice. He wants to be P1 time practice, warm up. I don't need that. I only need to be like good at the end of the day or good at the end of the championship. So that's a bit different approach to the racing, and that kind of mentality is different. But I think in the side of training, I think we are quite similar. We also try, because I know him a little bit, and he always tries to see also and he always tries to search perfection. And he's always looking a lot to other riders to search, okay, if he's doing that, I think I will, I can improve too. And I do that too. Yeah. So I look a lot and I try to learn from everyone. And that's something that I think makes us improve and get better.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's funny you say the Dutch thing. Like, you look at Jeffrey Herlings, him and Max Verstappen are the same dude. Like, they're literally the same dude, you know? And I think that there must just be something in that. And there's been a lot of great Spanish championships, and not just in MXGP, but in like MotoGP for sure. You know, you've got Marquez, you've got, Sete, you've got so many amazing Spanish motorsports.
Going back to Sete, you had that interview with him?
Yeah.
I spent some time with him.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah.
He told you?
Yeah. We spoke. I think I can't remember if we spoke about it on the podcast or off the podcast, but he told me when you were a little boy, your dad took you to his ranch to ride some
road racing.
Yeah. How was it?
Because of his cousin Pato. Yeah. I am having the license with him and stuff, and he's the cousin from Sete. And back then I was racing Spanish Championship 65, and Pato saw me racing close to his house, like Spanish race, and I was winning, and I was so much faster than the rest, and he was like, wow, this guy, it's good. Then he started talking a lot to Sete, this guy and Jorge and all that, and he's like, okay, come on, bring him here and let's see if he's that good,
Yeah.
So I went from Galicia to his place. It's like almost 1,000 kilometers. my father and my grandfather driving, because my father told to my grandfather, hey, we are going to the house of Sete.
Yeah.
We know you're a big fan. If you want to join, oh yeah. And my grandfather drove the whole time. He didn't want to sleep because he was a big fan from Sete.
Yeah.
And we go to his place, and I rode first day motocross, and then the next day we went to his track, and I did some road racing, and it was nice because it's a totally different world, and he was a super good guy with me.
The nicest guy. He is the nicest guy. Huh?
And I remember I still remember going back to my grandparents' house. It's like full of pictures from that day, so it was a great memory.
Was the road racing thing a serious thing that you wanted to do, or was it more that was just the one opportunity?
No, it was just to have fun. He just wanted me to go there and just have fun and try, because he knew I've never tried road racing before that. So he wanted me to try and have fun with him and see how I was riding also motocross bikes. So he was also impressed about my road racing skills, and I was also feeling quite good. The year later, I did that the same thing, and yeah. He was great experience. He has a very nice place. Everything is so clean and it's nice. And he wanted me to race road racing. So I got to him and I say, hey, I will race road racing. But if the races are not the same date as my European 65 championship, because otherwise I go motocross racing. He said, no, come on. If you do one thing, let's do it properly and let's do road racing. Then I say, okay, I stick with motocross because I like it more. But he actually offered me to race and to train and to work with him for road racing. So it was... My grandfather didn't understand my decision. Also, my grandfather said to my father, you are crazy. Like, you better break bones and win money than break bones and not win money,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But the sport, motocross is just different.
Yeah. What was the thing, even at such a young age, what made you not want to do the road racing?
I come from trials. So basically, I didn't start riding motocross. So motocross bike was not my first bike. I was riding trials and I was racing, and I was better back then in trials than motocross, but somehow, I don't know. I think the jumping, when you're small, motocross makes you a bit scared. Come on, when you can go into a tabletop and you're like, if I need to jump with a 50cc, and with trial, I didn't have that. I felt like I had everything more under control. But maybe that feeling of being out of control, was nice too, So I started riding a little bit more motocross, and then I started winning also in motocross, and I stick with it. Stick with it. I was enjoying it more.
I think you probably would have won world championships at anything that you did on two wheels.
To be honest, like I said before, I was better back then in trial than motocross. Like with trial, when I was like 6-7 years old, I was beating guys 9-10. When I was riding motocross with 6, I was not beating the guys from 10. So, like, when I see videos from when I was, like, small riding trails, I'm like, I don't see many kids doing that, But, I still ride trials, but twice a year.
Yeah. I think you did
twice a year.
It's funny, too, that you end up riding for Gas. Because that's a big trial.
Yeah.
That's a big trials company.
Yeah. Now it's easy, because before when I was riding for KTM and stuff, it was hard to put something on a gas. But now it's like, I can post whatever I want, and I can film myself riding trials. It's no problem. But I do it like 3 times a year, We ride so much on the bike that we don't have time. And maybe the time I could have like off the bike, it's now. And I decided to come here to the US and ride Supercross. So the sport, I just love it.
Yeah, it's so sick. So have you done any riding and road riding on a big bike yet? So have you ever rode like a full sports bike?
No, I wanted to ride try the MotoGP bike, but already a few years ago, and we got into a point that I even made the suit, like the racing suit.
Yeah.
I have that at home.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Gloves, boots, everything.
Did Alpine Stars make it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
And with my name, logos, but obviously from when I was racing KTM, so now I should change to red, you know?
Yeah. I think we can make that happen quite easily.
And I told Pete, hey, I like road racing. I would love to try it. And then I was also talking many times. I talked also to different riders from the grid, from MotoGP, and they say, yeah, you should try it. You should try the MotoGP.
Yeah.
Directly MotoGP, because that's like a real bike. And they said also, you have so much electronic and stuff that can make it go
quite
easy.
Safer, yeah. Yeah.
So it's something that it's also interesting. But now that I'm starting with Supercross, I'm like not even thinking about road racing.
Yeah. Dude, it'd be pretty cool if you got to suit up. I did a bit of not racing, but like road riding. And man, the most fun. Like so much fun.
Yeah, it's just the feeling. I just don't know how it feels to go 300 kilometers per hour in a straight. So I just want to feel that. And also then it makes it easier when you watch the races from MotoGP to understand what they do. Yeah. So that's also something I'm curious. I'm just curious to feel and why they do that. Why they don't change the line, or why, I don't know, just to understand better the sport. I think you should try it.
Yeah.
And okay, it's only for a few that can have the possibility to do it. So hopefully in the future we can make some laps.
I think there will be a video at some point of you saying this exact thing. They'll take this footage, and then the very next shot is going to be you in your red gas suit. So many of those boys love motocross too. Like Jake Dixon, he rides for Gas in the Moto 2 class, and
I know.
Huge fan, huge super. I went to World Supercross with him, like when it was in the UK. So all those boys just love so much to race. You'd see a few of those guys at the motocross tracks, yeah.
Last year we had like an event from Red Bull. It's like a Red Bull Dirt Weekend. In Spain, in Rocos Ranch, you know? Rocos, the motocross track close to Barcelona.
Okay, yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah.
And they made an event, and Aleix Espargaro was there. Paul, Jorge Martin came over. So I was riding with them. Then in Rome, I'm living like 5 minutes away from Fabio Di Gianantonio.
Okay.
So he also rode with me a few times to motocross, and So it's nice. It's nice to see that also other guys from other disciplines and the most of them started riding with a motocross bike.
Yeah.
So they start riding motocross in the regional championship, even some of those even Spanish championship, and then they moved into road racing.
Yeah.
So it means the base, it's motocross.
Yeah,
you know?
and so many of those guys just the ultimate respect that they have for athletes in motorsport is Supercross and motocross.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of those guys, you can talk to them and they say
even Mark and Alex, they both ride motocross often, and one of like the guy that it's with them, Jose Luis Martinez, is like he was Spanish champion motocross MX2. So they are in a road racing world, but the real team is motocross fans, you know. It's nice.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, it is cool. I never understood how much those guys and all sports, like, because of doing the podcast, you see so many people, they'll like send a message, they'll be like, oh, I love this, I listen to this, and you're like, damn, you race MotoGP, or you race Formula One, or downhill mountain biking world champion, or like everybody is looking at motocross and supercross as like they all think they're the gnarly motherfuckers.
It's quite true.
yeah. Well, they're not wrong. No, I mean,
I mean, if I don't say that, then I'm stupid, right? Because it's a sport I need to promote as well. I need to try to make, to bring motocross into people that never ever heard about it, and especially in Spain, motocross is not that famous, but slowly it's getting there. I remember when I was 65, 85, the gates were like 15 riders, like empty. After my 2 titles and in these last years, full gates in every class. So this means we are doing something good. Also, the Spanish Federation start helping a little bit with the European team, and so come on, we are doing, step by step. It's getting there, and it's nice to see also that because of my little or big, let's say, achievements, that brought a little bit to the sport.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy about that.
I think Spain is a country that's very receptive to motorsports, though. Like Spain is
motorsports in Spain.
Yeah.
But also sports, in
general too.
Yeah,
a lot of
we
competition.
we have one sentence in Spain. It's like, I'm Spanish. It's like, soy español. ¿A qué quieres que te gane? No. It's like, I'm Spanish. Let me know in what you want, I beat you. Because we have many sports like athletes in Spain that are good in everything, like tennis, football, soccer. Then going to motorsports, going to Formula One. Well, that's in the motorsports world, but cycling. We have quite many sport athletes in a very high level. So yeah.
What do you think that is? Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because in Spain we like the sports. Also, we have, let's say, in Europe, Spain, it's a big country, and we have the weather also.
I think weather, weather probably has something to do. Yeah.
We have the weather in the most of Spain is good weather.
Yeah.
From when I'm from, not. It's like kind of like England, always raining.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But for the rest of Spain, we also have the altitude.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the flat. So we have a bit of everything. Depends what you want. Spain, it's a big country, and you can find everything. You can have the rain from the north and the dry and heat from the south. So yeah, you can do a lot of things in Spain.
It makes sense, and I think I love Barcelona. Like, I think that's a amazing city, and I got to spend the Stark Future, like the Stark Vibe. Yeah, they're in Barcelona, and I've been there a few times now to visit those guys, and I say in Sitges, and it's just beautiful like that. But I think the people and the culture, like, I think that there's a relaxed vibe among Spanish people.
You know what? Now that I'm traveling more around the world, or I've been now traveling around the world for a few years, and I know the different cultures, I think Spanish culture is very different to the rest.
Oh.
Like, all the rest are more or less similar. Like, for example, in Spain, you go for lunch around from 1 to 4, like it's like that. In Belgium, if you go for lunch, you better go to the restaurant.
minutes, 20 minutes.
And you better go at 12, because otherwise at 2 it's closed.
Yeah.
Before that, for sure. For dinner, the kitchen doesn't even open before 9 in Spain.
Oh, it's crazy.
If you try to go 8:30, it's rare that it's open.
Yeah.
8:30, but in Belgium at 9 the kitchen is closed.
Yeah.
So it's totally different. Like, you live in a different kind of schedule.
Yeah.
Everything is different. And just also the relationship with other Spanish people, so between Spanish and Belgian, it's different. The people in Spain is more open, and Belgium it's more closed.
Yeah.
But also because of the timetable, it's so different. In Spain, you see people around the city. In Belgium, at those times, you go to any city, it's quite empty.
Mm-hmm.
Spain, doesn't matter the city, there's always someone.
Yeah.
Walking, and you don't even know why he's walking. You're like, he should be working. No, but he's walking and he's grabbing a coffee. But it's millions and millions and millions of people doing that. So it's just a different timetable, and it's culture.
Yeah.
Different.
Oh, you've nailed it. Like 100%. Like when you go to Spain, you get into a completely different time. Like, you get into a different world. You get into like we were in Sitges, and then there's a beach that's over, and I went for dinner with Morgan, who you might know Morgan Carlson, but anyway, he works there with the Stark guys, and we met at like 8 p.m. and then we walked around the city for a little bit, and then we stopped and had some wine and some meat, and then we went and found another, and it's like midnight by the time you're just finishing dinner, and then it's just you're on Spanish time, and you're on a Spanish vibe.
Like you go and you try to go for I don't know, you want to buy something in the evening, and the shops are open till like 9 p.m. You know what I mean? It's like you see everything. It's way different. In Belgium at 6 it's closed. So you want to buy, I don't know, clothes or whatever, it's closed. The shop it's closed.
Yeah.
It's not open after 6 or even before that. So it's just so different. And every time I go back to Spain, I struggle with the times, because as an athlete, the Spanish times are horrible. Yeah. Like you can't go to sleep at 12 or 11:30 and then wake up still, because the Spanish people still wake up at early. 7 or whatever time they need to go for work, you know, like the rest of the world. But then they go sleep so late, and then you're with the food, and then you're talking on the table, and I'm like, come on, we need to go. You know, I'm Spanish, but almost with the Belgian mentality, but then still Spanish, so it's like a mix from everything, and it's tough when I go to Spain.
I bet.
It's tough.
Yeah, and I think that to talk about sport again, I think that you have a Spanish culture that enjoys leisure. They enjoy to play, and you play sport. And I think that in the time, like the 1 to 4 p.m., when just doing we'll go play some football, we'll go for a ride, we'll go, you know, there's such a play culture and such a vibe around doing the thing, getting the most out of life. And I think that then pushes people a lot into sport, and then it just gives you a chance to spend a lot of time like in that. And nobody's gonna say you shouldn't be doing that, you should be working hard, people are gonna, in Spain, you're allowed to play in Spain.
Yeah, I think the mentality it's different, you know. It's just in many ways, and also looking back to other countries like Italy, they say it's similar, but it's far still from Spain. The mentality, it's like I said, it's different. It's like kind of like Spain many years ago. So it's like coming.
Yeah.
I think Spain sometimes is too far in mentality, like too open and too many things go on, but
even like Spanish women and relationships and man.
Yeah, like that's what I mean.
It's like they're just doing whatever the fuck they want.
Spain, it's crazy for that too. So, but
beautiful
also
country. Beautiful country. It's amazing.
But that I think comes back also to the timetables, because the day in Spain, the day is very long. Like I said, if you go to sleep at 11:30, but you wake up still like at 7 o'clock, it's many hours that you can do many things. You know, in the most of the countries, if you wake up 7, okay, but you go to sleep at 10 or even before that, 10 it's already late for some of them. So, you know, I don't know. It's like a different vibe. And I remember I was also swimming a lot, almost every day when I was small. I was also doing competitions. I was swimming, and I finished my swim at maybe 8:30. But I still go home, I still had dinner, and I still study after that. So the day, even for a small kid, ends up at 11:30. Where in Belgium, the small kids,
7.
you know, at 7 they're sleeping.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, in Spain at 7, you are still having, you know, your meal between lunch and dinner. Yeah. You know, the sandwich or whatever.
No. I went for the Spanish F1, and we went to dinner. We were at one of the cool kind of hotels, like right near the, I guess, the big, you have like the roundabout that's kind of like on the water. It's got that huge, in Barcelona, got that huge big statue, like kind of, so it was right around there. And I think we finished dinner at like midnight or 11:30 or something. And then I walked out and I was like, I'm going to go. It was my first night in the city. I was like, I'm just going to go for a bit of a walk before I get my Uber back to the hotel. And it looked like lunchtime. Like it was just everyone was out, and it's like, it was so pumping, and it was just a Thursday night in Barcelona. I was like, holy shit, that place is cool.
I know, in Spain you find people every day at whatever time.
And so many cultures too.
Yeah.
A lot of different cultures.
Yeah. Also, you've been in Barcelona, but depends the place in Spain, you know. But it's true. We have in many places, many cities, a lot of people from many places.
Yeah.
Barcelona is very touristic, so obviously you find people from everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But it's not that common. Like,
yeah,
you go to other cities like I don't know, Lugo. Yeah, you find people from different places, but not like Barcelona, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it's way smaller and it's not that touristic.
Yeah.
Let's say.
That's one of the cool things I think about the MXGP is that it's probably one of the most annoying things and most frustrating things, but it's probably one of the best parts is that you get to see so much of the world. Like you've seen so many different cultures and been to so many places and experienced so much. And I'm sure it's fucking annoying at times to do some of those flights and have to do some of the travel, but you guys get such a great view of the world.
But we race a lot in Europe. We race a lot in Europe. This year we just went for Argentina and Indonesia. Okay, and Turkey, but Turkey it's quite close, let's say.
Fairly European.
Yeah. And that's it. So the rest we are always
so it's not as much.
We are always in Europe, but it's I don't know in the US, but like from Spain, like I said, to Belgium or to Sweden, everywhere there is a difference. In culture, the people personality. Rules. I don't know if it happens here in the US.
Nowhere near as much.
No, but there, like there is a very big change in everything. Also food and like everything is different. So I think it's also cool because you see, just different things and you also learn. And you can take a little bit from everyone. You know, like I said, I'm Spanish and I'm proud Spanish. Yeah. But then I know the timetables in Spain are not right for an athlete, you know? So you need to change that, but you still take all the nice things from Spain, right? So it's not to take from everywhere the best things and try to put your life, stable, and I think it's cool.
So what's your perfect balance from all the countries that you've been to make the perfect Jorge Prado? What do you take from each place?
Well, I think something quite... what can I say from Belgium or Holland? It's that compared to maybe Spain, it's that in some ways they are more organized, a little bit more organized, and they are maybe a little bit more strict in some ways. But in Spain they are a bit more open. So it's hard to say, because you
need a little bit of everything.
You just need to find your own balance, and going around the world gives you a view from everything. And also, that I think is very important, when you go to places like Indonesia and you come back to Europe, you really know that you are like privileged on living this life. Like when you go to Indonesia and you see how the situation is over there from the people and the conditions they are living, like puts you, the feet back on the ground. Mm-hmm. And it's also good for us sometimes to see that and to appreciate everything we have. And we are living a very nice life. So I think it's, for many people, it's very important to see it.
Yeah, man, it's so true. I think when you've never been, I was just talking with Ben Spees in the last podcast that I think it's 50% of Americans don't even own a passport, and 14% of Americans have never even left their state. So, you just don't have, like, it's very easy for me in time, and my wife's Russian as well, so she grew up in a very, 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 very poor environment, and so when you're around someone every day that's so grateful for like little things, like when she first moved to Australia, she started crying the first time she went into a supermarket because she was just mind blown. Not that it was the first time she'd been in a supermarket, but
but like
when you're in Australia and like the prices of everything and the quality of everything, and it was just, I'm just like, just whatever, just get whatever you want, I don't care. Like whatever. And to her that was a massive deal, but to me that's been my whole life. Yep. My whole life I've been able to walk into that supermarket and get whatever food I wanted. But for the most of the world, it's not the case. And you go to like Vietnam or Cambodia. Like my dad and mum do some work in Cambodia, and they help do some like charity stuff with a friend of ours has a charity over there, and they build houses on rubbish dumps because the poorest of the poor people in Cambodia live on rubbish dumps their whole life, and they forage for rubbish to make a living. And
it's crazy.
And it's like, it's so easy for us where we come from to have a bad day over nothing.
Yeah.
Over like the dream life, the absolute dream for somebody else in one of these countries is your shit day.
Yeah.
That you're grumpy and arguing with your family or your girlfriend or whatever. And it's just like when you can have that perspective, like it really helps your life.
Yeah. And I think that's why we need to appreciate everything we have. And obviously motocross, it's let's say priority, but at certain point it's not anymore priority. You know what I mean? Like there are things more important than motocross, even though we sometimes think motocross it's the best of the best and there's nothing more above that, but there is. So no, we just need to, I think, like we said, just appreciate everything we have and enjoy our life. At the moment I'm more than blessed from what I achieved, and hopefully I can achieve way more, whatever, titles, happiness riding with the bike and everything. So it's like that.
And you can see how people with like what you would call nothing can have amazing lives and just happiness, and like you would see the smiles on kids' faces in Indonesia.
Yeah, it's crazy. When we go to Indonesia, we got sometimes into like a mall, and because it just came the image to my head, and we enter into a mall, and there were like some kids just sitting on the ground, because most of the people there, it's like sitting always on the ground. That's weird, but it's like the kids were there and they saw us there. We just look different, obviously, and they just start laughing, and they are like looking to us, and it's like they're heroes. You know what I mean? When we get there, the opening ceremonies they do for us, whatever, you can feel like they have a totally different life, and they for them there are other things more important, and it's nice to see and hard to see also, because you're driving, for example, in Indonesia from the hotel to the track, and you can see people living just on dirt. Just no house. There is no house. They're just living there. No water. How is he eating? How is he getting himself clean? But that's their life for all their life.
And millions and
then
millions of people.
If he has a kid, his kid maybe he can make it happen. But if he doesn't have like a better life, then his life will be like that, like his dad. And this is very hard, very hard. But they are they are always super humble and super happy. Yeah. And this is crazy, because it's like the most of the people, or call it Europeans, if they need to live like them, then they come into depressions and all these mental things, and they are laughing, and then when they see us, they're waving at us, and it's hard. It's not easy, but maybe also because they don't maybe know something better than that. Yeah. And that's what it's making them being so happy for really little things. Yeah. Really little things. I remember cycling also this year in Indonesia, and there was two kids going also with a bike. I had a road bike, helmet, everything cool, and the guys were without flip-flops, just normal feet on the pedal, rusted bike, not even the right size for the kid, and he was popping wheelies, everything, like really small kid, and I start pushing him a little bit on the side, and it was nice to see he was trying to follow me, and come on, this is so nice, like for really little things, like no shirt, just the underwear and no shoes, nothing, just go on the bike and go, and come on, this is nice. It's nice to see the happiness, but obviously, like I said before, it's hard. You understand the situation from the kid, and it's like He's having a tough life. Not me cycling now 2 hours and sweating a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
this kid, it's
every day. Well, we had a cool experience when we were driving through. We were riding. So my friend owns Vietnam Motorcycle Tours, and my parents do some work for him, and so we've done a couple of times now where you fly. They pick you up from the airport, and then you ride these like Chinese Harleys, basically, and you get on the bike, and you're on the bike for 2 weeks, and you ride all the way down Vietnam. You do maybe like 5 hours one day, 8 hours one day, 3 hours another day, and you work your way all the way through the country. Best experience. It's so much fun, and every day you're in that environment and just seeing those people. And some days for lunch, you just have to pull in, and there's the tour guides that are all from Vietnam, and they just go to a random family. They've never met them, they don't know, and then they'll just say, hey, can we please prepare some lunch at your house? And you'll just stop on the side of the road, and there'll be a family, and they'll like bring out the woks and the burners, and then they're making these like we'll have like baguettes and some meat and some pho, and you're just sitting with this family. They don't speak English, like they don't, and you're just chilling, And we went through one of the villages that we went through, and this is what's cool about motorsport too, is we're riding through. We get into this kind of mountain range, and these kids hear us coming, and then I was looking way down the road, and you can see them. They were just sitting on like bicycles in front of the house. They dumped the bicycles, sprinted into the house, and then like 20 bikes, boom, 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 come past. And there's 2 kids, exactly what you said. No shirt, no, just underwear and shoes, on a scooter, like a 50cc scooter, MotoGP style, like putting their knee on the ground and like just
the knee on the asphalt.
Oh, dude, and they were just loving it, So it's like, you can see people that don't have much, that just have a lot of happiness because they're just grateful for the things that they do have. Yeah, it's super cool. So what about the food when you're traveling? Do you get adventurous with food?
No.
You just stay on the program?
Yeah.
That's such a bummer. I get why you'd have to.
To be honest, I always try to eat healthy. Yeah. But also my body, it's like asking for healthy food. It's like, I'm not going to a restaurant and I'm like, I just want French fries. No, it doesn't, like my body doesn't want that. I also know when I have that kind of food the next day or the next few hours, I will feel heavy. So I don't like this feeling. So I'm quite, I like to eat healthy and clean food. When you go racing all over the world, it's hard to find a balance between eating healthy and not grabbing whatever comes first. Because sometimes we stop in places where we just need to grab whatever because we need to eat, But I have like one sponsor now, Frinsa, it's on my shirt. And they are doing like cans with like fish protein or like meat protein or whatever. So for example, Indonesia, I brought I don't know how many cans, like for lunch and dinner every single day in Indonesia. So I had that, and then white rice that it's not too difficult to get over there. So just the same food every single time I eat, and it's hard, but I was good.
Yeah, you can't risk it.
I don't want to risk it. No. And when you get bad in those countries, it's you don't want to go to hospital, or you better want go racing and back, and that's it. Yeah. So you also with the food you need to be very careful. In the rest of Europe, you can eat easy. Easy. Argentina, easy. You can have good food.
Oh, Argentina, the meats.
No problem. But the hardest for us, for all
Indonesia,
the Europeans, for sure. MXGP riders, it's for sure, Indonesia.
That's the best food, though. You guys are so unlucky that you can't get to eat that. The food in Indonesia is so good. But if I was racing, there is no way I would be risking it. Because sometimes you'll eat like the best meal and it's so much flavor and it's so amazing, and then you just spend the next like 3 hours shitting yourself. And it's worth it when you don't have to race a motorcycle.
Now we all know we need to be very careful. We all know we need to be very careful when we go to Indonesia. We've been now in Indonesia for a couple of years. Myself since 2017. Yeah, 17. So it's already a few years that we are going there, and we all know if you eat something there, you're likely getting sick, you know. And the most of the riders, we all bring our food, but still, many of them got sick this year, for example.
Really?
So you need to be careful with everything. So you see a swimming pool, you need to be careful. If the water of the swimming pool gets in your mouth a little bit, you're done for the 2 weeks. So for 2 races. From the shower, brush your teeth with normal water. Always water from a bottle, like closed bottle, not open. Oh, you always need to be so careful. You can't eat ice cream because the ice. You can't eat a salad because they wash the salad with the water. You need to be careful with everything.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're like, what can I eat?
Do you like the fact that you guys go to Indonesia to race, or do you think that it's just not enough of a setup to hold MXGP?
We are just on the limit.
Okay.
We are just on the limit because...
Has it got better in the years that you've gone there, or it's stayed the same?
It's very similar always. The tracks are nice. So the first round, it's very nice. It's a very it almost looks like a pro motocross track, to be honest. Like the starting straight, it's like, I think, like 100 meters wide.
Land a plane on it.
Even too much.
Yeah.
And so for riding, it's nice. But then, I mean, the food, we need to be always very careful. And we go, for example, the first round, we go to an island, which is, we don't have anything like that. I need to eat my own food. Otherwise, in that island, I get sick. The second one, it's a bit better because we are in Lombok and there are some restaurants. We even found one Spanish one because one of the guys that are working in the MotoGP track in Lombok, in Mandalika. Yeah. It's Spanish, one of the guys that organize everything. And he's living there, and I know him because the year before he came over to the GP, and he said, "Hey, I'm Indonesia, whatever. If you next year are coming back, let me know, and I bring you to different places, whatever." So this year I call him, and he was the guy also that arranged a bicycle for me, and
that's cool, yeah.
So I call him. He's like, "Yeah, come over to the track." So I make a lap in the MotoGP track with a road racing bike, very easy, just to check the track. But then I also, we also went, like I said, for lunch in a Spanish restaurant. Paella, jamón serrano.
Really?
So that, after eating white rice and my stuff for like 1.5 weeks.
The flavor from
the
paella.
First time I got to eat something different was like, wow, so good. So good.
Yeah.
And it was good. So the second round, it's a bit better because we are also in a better resort. And there are also like few other resorts around the area that are good. And you can be a bit more relaxed about the food. Like you could eat different pastas and meat. And that's it. But it's something more than just white rice. You know what I mean? So so it was okay. The first round, it's just on the limit. But the second round is good. Yeah.
And overall, though, you think that the MXGP should be going to tracks like that?
I always say that MXGP, it's the world championship, right? So we can't only race in Europe. It would be easier for us to only race in Europe, but come on, it's a world championship. We need to come to Argentina. We should come to US. We should go to different places. Yeah. Like we should even go
Australia.
Whatever, I don't know. It's a world championship. It's hard, because every time you come back to Europe, it's hard with the jet lag or whatever, also for racing, but it's the world championship.
And it's the same for everybody.
Yeah. The only thing, it's I understand also the other part, the teams, it's expensive to go to all these places, but it's a world championship, you know what I mean? Yeah, no. If you only race in Europe, it's no sense. It should be called European Championship. No,
I think, I think that there's definitely, I mean, it's so hard to say because obviously like we're not in front and we don't, you don't know how much it costs or blah, blah, blah. But you would have to think that, Australia, like I would love for Australia to have a Motocross of Nations.
I've never been in Australia, so I would love to go there too.
Oh, amazing, amazing tracks. Motorcycle racing is huge.
I saw some tracks on the internet from Australia, looking good.
Yeah, no, there's some really great tracks there, and you've got maybe two of the biggest stars in the sport right now from Australia, and you've had Chad Reed, Michael Byrne, Brett Metcalf, Andrew McFarlane. Like, so many Australians have come through the MXGP, and I think that I also think too, like, people are going to start looking more towards the MXGP now. I think that people are starting in America, especially, or just people globally, are starting to think that they should maybe do more time in Europe before they go to America. Like, you look at what happened with Jett and Hunter. I think people are looking at the model and going like, man, those guys came in and just killed it compared to
And to be honest, like, they spent time in Europe, yes, but I mean, compared to many other guys, I think it was only a few years, like maybe 3 years. I don't know, more or less around that. Yeah. For sure, it helps. It helps for sure to ride the sand and to ride all these tracks. But on the other hand, they are good because they have the talent. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And maybe that helped for sure. But they were there in like not so much time, like small amount of time.
But I think I
don't know how much it can benefit just 2-3 years. I think it was 3 years. Yeah. I think something like that, right? 3 or maybe more. Now
but
I'm thinking.
I mean, it was probably around three maximum, maybe 4 years. But
so Honda, Suzuki, Quali before that, and so 3-4 years.
Yeah, but I think that if you
it's
think
already
about
a time that you can already. Now that I'm thinking, for sure it helps, but they know how to ride a bike, so they knew how to ride a bike before coming to Europe, and for sure they will know how to ride once they are gone and they are coming here.
But I think the thing that makes a difference nowadays is the amateurs in the US will race maybe 4 times in 1 year.
Right. Yeah.
And if you go to Europe, you can race EMX, you can race Dutch Championship, you can race, and it's it's so much more. So like, maybe they were there for only 3 years, but in those 3 years, you see so many different tracks. You do so many different races in so many different conditions, and you're such like the underdog when you get there. But I think that with what they have done, you're going to start to see more and more kids stop to just think that they need to just come to America, just do Loretta's, and then go into the pro class from there, because that model hasn't worked. And they did it good
because they came straight to Belgium, so it's not just going back to Europe, because Europe it's not the same if they would have gone to Spain or Italy or France, that it's like hard pack and easy tracks kind of. No, they went straight to Belgium like I did from Spain. They left everything behind and they went to Belgium, and that was the place where you can build yourself like a rider. You can understand better the bike, your positioning on the bike, because the sand it's so difficult, and you can ride in so many conditions, like sand when it's wet, the sand when it's dry, but then also around the area you have also hard pack tracks. I know they also been in living in Germany, so they could also mix with different championships, and it's a good area to build up your riding skills, Yeah. For sure it helped.
Yeah, so I just think that, maybe the MXGPs are probably going to start to get a little... Because I remember, when I was really growing up, like a super fan of the sport was like 06, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08. And it's like, that was Carmichael, Stewart,
But when I was small, I only watched AMA Supercross. Like, I didn't know many GP riders. When I was world champion 65 in 2011, I didn't know so many riders from MXGP, to be honest. I knew everyone from Supercross, because all I watched back then was like DVDs from Supercross, not really MXGP,
Yeah, so I think that, that influence, that was our generation, and so much of the attention was on the US. But I think in recent years, with Caroli, Herlings, yourself, Vial, like there's been a Porcel, like there's been such a resurgence of European talent and the European or the MXGP Championship. And then I think once the Euros started kicking America's ass in the Motocross of Nations, it seems like now people start to look at the MXGP so much more differently.
Yeah, I think the level we have right now in Europe, it's very high. And it just comes with generations. You have maybe a generation that in the US is better than Europe, and then you have another one that in Europe is better than the US. At the end, we all ride a dirt bike. Okay, here they ride more Supercross, and there we ride only motocross. But it's the same bike. I mean, I've been riding these days Supercross, and you also can take a lot from Supercross into motocross, you know? And then at the end, you need to turn fast in Supercross, right? But you need to do that the same in motocross. Still different, suspension is different, but the bike concept and everything, it's pretty much the same. Come on. So we have a little bit advantage for sure because we ride the whole year that. But it's it's hard to say, you know.
Well, I think here
I don't think that makes that big of a difference, you know, because we get to a level that I don't know. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I don't know.
Well, I think
I don't know.
I think one of the things that probably holds America back in a sense is that it's way more of like a refined product. Like it's almost American motocross now. Like the MXGP is motocross, and it's every form, every variety. Like you go to Trentino, to Spain, to Portugal,
it's totally
to
different.
Lommel, to Argentina.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's like and then Ernée on the weekend. Like you could see how bad, you know, some of the American boys
to be honest,
struggled with that.
I would say Ernée was a good track for them, to be honest, because the track wasn't super rough. So we raced tracks way more difficult than Ernée. Just because when we race MXGP, we have another 2-3 categories in the weekend. So before our first free practice, 8 categories go on track. 8. Before our first free practice, you know, Nations not. We are the first ones, second ones on track. Come on, the track, it's totally different, right? So I think Ernée was the best track kind of for them because it wasn't super rough and it has some ruts. It wasn't also not extremely hard. We raced also Turkey. It's hard, very hard. Majora, second moto, when after winning my title, second moto, it got hard. This is tough to ride. Ernée still had some grip and
do you realize how bad Christian Craig, Aaron Plessinger, and RJ Hampshire are going to feel hearing you say that track was easy?
It wasn't easy because to go fast, it's always difficult.
Yeah.
But I was talking still this week with Christian, and I told him this track was not that difficult compared to what other tracks look like. Like Dörstental, Germany. If you need to ride that track, it's hard. It's hard underneath. You have places with mud. You have places with, like, the most of the track is very rutty and the bumps are unreal. So that's difficult. Yeah. Or, you know, even Spain was very rough this year.
That looked like, sketchy.
And you had some places where it's super hard. So, yeah, it depends. I think it was right also that the track was like this for Nations, and I enjoyed more. I enjoyed more riding a track less rough, and that we can compete more like how you call it, like more like face to face, you know, because in the GPs it sometimes feels like you need to wait, and then you can just sprint a few times because the track is so rough and you don't have so many lines. I feel like in Nations we had a bit more lines and still could be better, but we had more options and the track wasn't that rough, so we could attack more the corners. Like I felt like the speed was higher than in other races, and that's because the track was more flat for sure.
That's wild, man.
Like down the hill,
it wasn't that rough.
You jump and you open the throttle.
Yeah.
I feel like on a normal GP weekend, you would jump and brake directly, and like going down the hill, just bum, just easy.
Yeah.
because otherwise you go over the bars, right? But in Nations, not. Even second moto, we were going quite fast down the hill. Like, I was like, it's not used to that speed.
Yeah.
So it was faster than other years, for sure.
How was Nations overall for you? I think Spain has, Spain's got, you guys have a chance, I think.
Yeah, we had the chance. We should have been on the podium, but I did a good job, and my teammates kind of struggle with the mistakes. So yeah, then it's Nations. It's a team. It's like a race where it counts 3 riders, not just one. So
yeah,
everybody needs to do a little bit good. And this year, we failed in doing that. So, but my racing was good. We also used Nations for just testing a little bit. So I was also riding quite a different setup and everything just to try. So I was not super comfortable, but still I could manage to win first Quali race. And then I could manage to fight really for the win in Moto 1 with Febvre and putting everyone behind plus 30 seconds.
That was a crazy cool race.
So we were riding fast, and then second moto we just missed a little bit the first corner with Kenny on the inside, and I just got a bit blocked into the next jump, and somehow I couldn't manage to make quick passes, and then Kenny and Jett were already gone, and I was just fighting all time with Maxime. So I would have loved to be a bit closer with Jett and Kenny, because for sure I had the speed, and to see if eventually at the end of the race I could make a pass or something, but I think it was good. I've been all weekend very consistent. Already from free practice I was second, just 0.08 or something like that behind Jeremy, so we did the same time, and so already consistent from there, and that's something curious, not because if it was like a normal MXGP I would leave out of Nations with a red plate again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of my consistency during the weekend.
Yeah.
So it was a good weekend. I think we had some good racing. It was nice that also Jett Lawrence came over, and Kenny, and the thing from like Jett being undefeated here, and finally I could beat him and break that streak, in the quali race, and then again in the first moto. I think it was cool.
What is it like for you to see Jett do what he did over here in his rookie 450 season? Because I know, like you would be, okay, I think there's something different would happen if I was there. I'm sure Febvre thought the same thing. Sure Jett.
Febvre, myself, we all beat him twice from the 3 times. And if you take free practice, we beat him 3 from the 4 times. So, and everybody was putting laps in free practice.
Yeah.
So, he's a very good rider. He did a very good season. Come on, 22-0, right?
Pretty gnarly.
Even if you are better than the rest, to be able to don't make a little mistake, it's difficult. I know it because when I was in the 250, I also, in my second year world title, I won pretty much every single motor from every GP. So I won, I don't know how many motos, but so many. I missed one. So, you can make, or I think two motos. So just slightly mistake and it's gone, So he did a very good job on that. And being first year 450, it's not easy. And but yeah, also the competition, it's different. It's different in Europe than here. Some of the guys were not racing outdoors. I'm not saying he wouldn't do that if the rest would be still there. Maybe he would still beat everyone. But you have more guys, you know? So if you have a bad start, you have more guys to pass too.
Yeah.
So it's just, you never know. You never know, but he did it. And that's clear. And that's staying, So he's doing good.
When you watch him ride and you see the technique and you see the flow, you're very similar. Like the way that you ride the bike, the posture, I think that if you'd say there's a Jett Lawrence of Europe, like you qualified for that. But do you look at his style and do you see him doing anything like a little different than maybe you or other people do? Or do you think that he's doing the same thing, he just looks a certain way while he's doing it?
It's not easy to do. Like when you see videos of him in the US, feels like a lot of flow. Yeah, but do that in Turchental, you know? That's different. You in Europe, you don't have that flow because it's rough and you need to hold on to the bike. And after a corner, you have big bumps, and then you come into the next corner and you have big braking bumps, and then the rut. And the rut, it's not nice because in the moto before they put too much water and it was floated with mud, and then now your foot pegs drag, and then you have a hole because of the water, and then you go up again.
Yeah.
It's not like that here.
Yeah.
Here all the track has a bit more flow. Also, it's way more like the corners are wider.
Yeah.
In Europe, we turn so tight that you can't have that nice flow. So yeah, it's harder to just have a nice feeling. Also, when you look at the TV, we look a little bit slow when compared to maybe America. And then they come over, but they are not faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just the tracks are so different in the riding style. And I feel like in Europe you need to have more strength. You know, like it's like more going through the bumps. And if you don't put the throttle open with the big holes, you are not moving. You know?
Yeah.
Here, from other riders, they tell me, yeah, but here you just have the ruts and the bumps are not that big. Out of the corner, you barely have bumps. In Europe, it's destroyed the track.
Yeah.
So it's pure strength many times and just hold on to the 450.
Man, after you got I only got to go to the one GP, so I'm only using Arco as my one example, but there was a couple things that was really striking to me when I was there. One was how good Febvre's bike looked. Like, that thing was so sick. But after the finish line before the left-hander, those bumps on the inside get big.
Yeah.
And man, his bike just looked amazing through those bumps.
Yeah.
But then you go left and then you go right and onto that start straight.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that start straight was so gnarly. Like, just the huge bumps out of those things, and just every 450 just the whole way down. I was like, oh my god, dude, this is gnarly.
Like, if you start looking to our grid, the top guys from the 450s, they are all quiet, like big muscles, a little bit tall.
Yeah.
Like maybe the only guys that are more like small, and it's myself and probably Sewer.
Yeah.
But Sewer is quite strong too. Like strength. Like, he's very strong, but he's just not that tall. But all the rest have a good height and like big
like
bodies.
Jeffrey's a big dude.
Yeah, but also Kaiser.
Yeah.
Like pretty much the top guys that are riding now 450s are very, very strong. Just the body. You don't see so many like myself, like very thin and yeah, looks like to ride fast the 450 now you gotta be a bit more strong, especially in the GPs.
Yeah.
Because you need to hold on. Like, you can do a lap, no problem, but 35 minutes on a GP second moto, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. So it's the sport is changing, you know, a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I've said that a few times this last couple of years, is I think that we're now entering like the more athlete era. Like, I think in previous years, like, you look at Tony, not a very big dude. I'm sure he's extremely fit.
He also has a like strong body. Like,
yeah, but he would not. You're not seeing him play football. You're not seeing like American football, like a big muscular, like athletic kind of dude. Whereas you look at like Jett, jacked, Sexton, jacked. Like,
yeah, I mean,
some guys
the first
that are starting to get big.
I saw them was like last year. Chase and Jett and Nations after Red Butt, and well, at Red Butt, and they are like, I don't know, almost 10 centimeters bigger than me, taller than me. It's like almost 2 heads, you know, like,
yeah,
they are big guys. I'm compared to them, I'm small, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think for motocross it has its benefits. For example, coming to a corner. I get so many times my ass kicked from the bike, you know, like, and when you're a bit taller, it happens way less. So that means you can approach the corner in a better way and also more comfortable and putting also more pressure into the bike. Sometimes I feel like I'm way too light, you know, and I can't put the pressure good, and especially in Europe, that we have, like we talked before, so many tracks so hard, and I feel like sometimes I can't put on so much pressure just because I'm not that big.
Yeah.
So and I'm getting bigger compared to 3 years ago. I have way more muscles. I've grown maybe a few centimeters, not much, but for the rest, I'm more like a man, let's say, and still it's not enough. The tracks, like I said, in Europe are so hard, and being a bit like more tall and big, it's not bad.
Yeah. Are you doing anything to try and put on weight and size?
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm the guy that trains the most in the most. Like, doesn't matter here, America or Europe, in the motocross world. And
it's hard though to put on weight when you're spending so much calories.
And also because my I think metabolism is like this, so my genetic, you know what I mean? I have like, my legs are like very strong, but my upper body, even if I do weights, I do whatever, but it gets to a certain point and I can't get bigger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It will come with the years, I guess. I'm only 22, so probably in the next years I will get more muscles and it will probably help me. I feel like sometimes I would like to have a bit extra strength, you know, for the 450. But still, I'm doing quite good with the strength I have, and it's good. Did
when Romain made his charge towards the end of the season, like, he obviously had a pretty big points gap, but did that start to affect a little bit? Maybe like, oh shit, I need to start going a little faster here, or was it just one of those things where you knew, I got the lead, don't let it affect you, like, just keep going?
You know, when I think he won like 5 races in a row,
I think.
Yeah, but out of those 5 races, few of them I even put some points in between myself and him. So he won the race, but at the end of that weekend,
you won the war.
I won the war, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the other races he won, I just have equal points, and then the other one, maybe he just 2 points ahead. So I was not stressing out with almost, 90 something points ahead.
Yeah, okay. So that, I didn't know it was that many points.
Yeah, I had I think at one point 102 or something like that, or 101. I don't know, big points gap. So to stress out because I didn't win, but we still have same points in the championship. No rush, you know.
Yeah.
And then I also had to play it safe in a way of, I don't want to put this championship, you know. I could see that I have an opportunity this year with that points gap. I was scared to lose it, you know. So I was like taking it easy in some races, and when I knew I could charge hard, I was charging hard.
Do you think that they gave too many points to the qualifying race? Obviously, you're the guy that benefited the most from it, so it's a little bit loaded question.
If they take out all the quali races and they just stick with it,
win.
I still win almost with the same points.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. At one point of the season, if they take all my quali races out of the way and they take from all the rest of the riders, all the GP, so Sunday points plus quali races, I was still first in the championship. So if I didn't have any quali race wins or no points on Saturdays and just take my Sunday points, I would still be leading the championship at one point of the season. So when the people talks about, yeah, but you win the quali race and stuff, no, it doesn't matter, because the points difference, it's nothing. The guy that wins, it's just 10 points, but the second one, it's 9.
Yeah.
So it's just 1 point different. So that's nothing.
So like, it me, adds to
they should do it like MotoGP. 12, 9, 7, I think it is, and like bigger difference. Come on, if you win, it's not just 1 point more than the second, because then the 8th and the 7th, only 1 point also in between. It's no sense for me. But it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing because it puts more value into Saturdays, and it puts makes you be more consistent. So I like it.
Yeah. So overall, you're a fan of the format.
Yeah. Like I said, I would even do it a bit more extreme, you know, going 12, 9, 7, something like that.
Yeah.
More difference.
Yeah.
And then it would be
Big advantage.
Bigger advantage.
Yeah, because that's cool. I hadn't done the math. I hadn't looked into the math.
Many people, that's why many people talk.
Cool. It's cool to hear.
And they just talk, but they need to talk knowing what they say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I tell you this.
No, it's cool to know, because from the outside looking in, if you don't do the math and you see Jorge Prado with this enormous points lead and he's won every quali race, that's what you think. Yeah. That's what you think that he has. But that's just, you rode that good this year. Like, that's really what won you this title, was being the fucking man.
I remember in Friday before Argentina, they asked all of the riders about the quali races and about the year, and nobody wants to, let's say, speak and really from their heart or what they feel. They are very polite, most of them, you know, like, it's okay, it's good. We'll see. Motivated for the year, you know what I mean? I think for me it's good. It will put more value into Saturdays, which I like, and we race for something. So we will race for points. So you need to be more consistent. And I said the guy that makes gets the feel on the track already from the free practice, because now everything starts from free practice. If you think. If you don't have a bike or you don't feel good on free practice, then you need to figure it out in time practice. But then it's too late, because you need a good gate pick from Saturday. Because on Saturday you have points. And that Saturday it's also important. One, because of the points, and then the gate picks for Sunday. Yeah. So everything starts now from Saturday free practice. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I said it could be a very good year for me, because I feel like I can be very consistent, and I'm quite good in shorter motos. If with my good starts and stuff, there's not so much time to catch, you know.
Yeah. And so if we had to talk about the one weakness that Jorge Prado has in his game, it would be, if you don't get the start, that it seems harder for you to make passes than maybe some other people. And
I think that's my weakness, my only weakness at the moment. I can't get good through lappers and just through the field. I struggle a lot, but there is a reason.
It's because you've only ever won races from the front.
Exactly, because
you never had to practice.
I only know how to race. Like, I know how to race when I'm in the back too, but not too much in the back. Like, if I'm already like 10th, it's hard for me to get into first. Like, it's harder for me than for other guys, because I don't know, I'm scared when I go too close to another rider. I don't know, I'm not used to it. I've been starting first all my life, every single class, always first. But that's also the deal, you know. When I start first, I'm comfortable. So how, you know, it's difficult for the rest. You know what I mean? And this year, I had a few times I was sitting in second, and I was like, oh, this is so much easier. Why? Because you see where's the guy in front going. Second, because in second you only need to make one pass, you know. So that's And then, so you know, okay, he's losing there. Oh, take it easy. I know he will make a mistake, or I know if I push him a little bit, you know, there I can make the pass. So here he's going faster than me. I change the line.
And I go faster.
And I go faster. But if I'm going faster there and I know he's slow there and I know the fast line, I got him. Yeah. But when you're first, what do you do? You only know pretty much your own lines, because you are scared to move to the outside, for example, and that the guy makes a block pass or goes in the inside. So you need to be very smart when you're first. And it's hard to know.
And more cautious when you're first.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then when you're coming through the pack, you can't be cautious. You have to be like almost throw caution to the wind and be very aggressive. And make big risks. But that's not the way that
I've never touched anyone in my life. Like block pass or anything. In my life, I've never done it. I don't even know.
You should. It's fun.
I did it.
Dude, tried. Talk to Vince Freeze. He loves it.
I tried to make a little block pass this year in the quali race in Arco, and I crashed. I was the guy trying to make little block pass because I had a bad start, and I tried to go through the field, and I was like, okay, I need to be aggressive. Come on, you can do it. And when I got into the point, I lost it. You know, I'm like, come on. For one time in my life, I tried to be a little bit aggressive. I think I almost didn't even touch him. and I already lost it, you know? It's not made for me. I'm made for good starts, and that's it.
So how do you work on that, though?
It's impossible if you don't start bad.
Yeah, true. So you're just trying to eliminate the bad starts.
At one point this year, we were thinking to maybe go and race some other races and let everybody start, and I go behind. But then I don't like it because I see a lot of risk, you know?
Yeah.
So it's hard to practice that. I think by experience. And I feel like I got better. So I feel like from the beginning of the year to now, I can go through the field better. Or at least with the lappers, I'm better. But I lose so much time. Like, it was crazy. Even on, when was it? Was it on Saturday or Moto 1 in France? I think on Saturday. Jett had a bad start and he was going through the field.
Yeah.
He pretty much didn't lose time. Like, his lap times with lappers or not are the same.
Yeah.
But my lap times with lappers or not are big difference, like almost 2 seconds, you know, or something like that. But then it's like he knows to go through the field because he's maybe never being so consistent starting first. But then when I got no lappers, I'm pulling away because I know how to handle that, you know, when the track is free and I'm first.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of people
you know
are quite
I mean?
uncomfortable there. Like a lot of people are uncomfortable when they've got the lead. Like even when I was talking to Hayden Deegan, and he was saying like, oh man, it's kind of scary being out front. He's like, I just don't, it's gnarly. You're out there. You don't know where anyone is, and you don't know what the pace should be. You don't know how hard to go. You don't know, like, you have mastered something that is probably harder for most people than coming through the pack.
But it's like, for some people, it's so much easier to go through the pack.
Yeah.
Than starting first. A clear example is Jeffrey.
Mm-hmm.
They all said, yeah, but Jeffrey, every time he needs to come through the pack, so it's harder for him. And then, yeah, when he wins, it's like, yeah, he's an animal because he's been coming through the pack. This year, he started a few times first. I think in Portugal, one of the motos, or on Saturday, every time this year he started first. I'm not 100% sure, but almost every time he starts first, he's never finishing first. He's not used to it.
Yeah.
Terstental. I knew I was second behind Sewer. I couldn't pass. And I knew Jeffrey was behind. And I didn't stress. Jeffrey passed me. And I was like, okay, perfect. Perfect, because he will pass Sewer and I will just follow.
And I'll see where he goes.
And I did that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. So now I just got to go for Jeffrey. And then when I put the pressure, I felt like he didn't know how to handle that, you know, because he's not used to no one to put pressure on him. And I was faster. And I put pressure, and then I could see he's not used to that, because I don't care if the guy behind it's on my wheel or 1 second behind. It doesn't affect me. Like I don't care when they are behind. I'm easy, you know. But other people not. And in Terschenthal, I remember I was putting a lot of pressure on him, and well, he made a mistake, but he was already, you know, kind of. I could see him on his riding style. I knew exactly the gears he was riding when I was behind. I was like, it's wrong. He's doing wrong things. And it's because he's not thinking. He's just, he's thinking too much probably on me.
Yeah.
In some jumps, he was looking back, and it's because you are not used to it. And it's not easy, because when you're first, it's very easy to make mistakes when they put pressure on you. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny, like I'm just thinking about it all now. So it's like the criticism is, oh, well, boy, he can't make passes when he's not in the lead. And then it's like, well, who gives a fuck if he's never not in the lead? Like, this almost isn't a problem. Like, is this the problem?
If I start, let's say 90% of the time, well, I don't know 90, but big percentage of the time first, who cares if the other 10 I can't make big passes? Like, I'm never. Sometimes you can have a big mistake, but if I'm in the top 10, for sure I get to the 5th, 4th, 3rd. That area I can do it.
That's good points.
It's good points.
And then reset and nail another start.
And then reset another start. If I get the whole shit, probably win. If not, I am always finishing 2nd or 3rd, pretty much. Or 2nd or 3rd, not more than that.
So it's really not that big of a problem.
Yeah. For sure, I need to improve. Days that I start bad, I need to figure out how to go through the pack. But I think it also comes with experience and being a bit more aggressive. But maybe that's something also positive in my side, that I'm not that aggressive. So that makes me have less mistakes than other riders.
Yeah, you're there every weekend.
So you need to balance all that.
Yeah. So what are you thinking when you're on the bike, riding style wise? Like, what are you trying to do? Like when you're in a moto, and
what I'm thinking
like
in the moto.
What is good to you? What's good riding to you? Like, because I'm training right now and I'm doing my most riding I've ever done, and I'll do a 20, and then I'll be like, for my second lap's always my fastest lap. Every moto, my second lap. But it's not like the other laps are super shit, but for whatever reason, second lap I'm in, but it never feels like my fastest lap. The other laps
because you're fresh, so it happens also to us, like when you're fresh, even if you go like full gas and you have that extra, you know what I mean? But back to your question, I think about just trying to ride effortless. So I'm a rider that I don't use so much power to ride. I mean, I don't.
Oh, it's crazy to hear your bike when you're riding.
I never attack too much the corners, but I am also not super aggressive on the throttle.
Yeah.
It's just a combination of rolling a little bit, but at the same time, playing a little bit with the track, finding lines where I will not have that kicking from the bike, or I will feel like I don't need to use so much effort and too much energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, from lap one, thinking every corner, every straight, every jump, where can I go that will make me faster, but at the same time it will make me go like faster for a longer time, so that makes me go like with less energy. That's every lap from the whole moto, every single lap, every single bump, every single corner. I think that. So where can I go? I come into the corner. Okay, I didn't like this. So I remember next lap I need to try something else, or just slightly different. Not maybe a big change, just something different. Maybe I need to put the front end, so the front wheel in a different place, or maybe I need to jump these two bumps so I can make the speed later on. But sometimes also you need to go through the line that makes you more tired for a minute to make that gap, or to make that difference, because sometimes the tough line is the fast line, and this happens a lot in descent. So you're thinking about also riding technique. I'm always thinking about that, also in training. Like, come on, I stay on the pegs. I need to put my feet in a better position. This lap I made a small mistake, maybe because I was laying it too much in the front, maybe because I used too much front brake, whatever. I just think all the time and just try to get better. That's why we do it too, to get better.
Because I think that there's certain cues in your mind, I think, when you start to nail certain things and you start to like get into a rhythm, and you're picking some lines,
laps that you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, like so good, like flowing, and then suddenly you make small mistake and it's not flowing anymore, so then you need to try to flow again. And that's hard and you're getting to the rhythm, and that makes it special too. This is motocross. Every lap is different. Then the perfect line breaks, and then you need to build another one. But till it's not good, you are fighting with that corner every lap, and you're angry, because you're not flowing. You're using more energy again. So it's just the balance of riding smooth and thinking. You need to ride by like thinking what you're doing. You're not just riding with throttle and just trying to go fast with no sense. There is a sense, you ride and you try to do everything safe also. I'm not a rider that risks my life and to get 1 second or half a second in one corner or in one jump. If it's going to be risky, I don't do it. I take it easy. I spent already a lot of time in hospitals and recovering. I don't want to do that anymore. And many of those times are not even because I was risking, so I even want to avoid that.
Even more. Yeah, no, because it's it's definitely been cool to experience riding as much as I have this year, because I think it's given me, I've always started, love the sport, and I've always been so into the sport, but I think once you can really start riding a lot,
and
it's
you
different.
Probably, like you told me before, it's the first time in your life that you're riding more often and you're training, and you can see your progression, right? For me right now, it's I can feel my progression, but it's very small steps. Like maybe it's just the entry of the corner a little bit faster, and then you're like, maybe I was a bit faster than yesterday. Yeah, maybe, or maybe not. It's hard to say. But with you have like a bigger range of improvement, and quicker. Like you can get to like a better level. Maybe in 2 weeks you're much faster than you were yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool. That's a cool thing about motocross too. That today I can't make the tabletop, but maybe in 2 weeks I can make it. And then you like it because you see yourself improving. That's cool, right?
Oh, 100%. And it just gives you such a more respect for you guys. Like, not that I've ever thought I didn't have respect, but I think that you just get even more. And even one thing that's really been crazy for me is like my perspective on privateers that do it all themselves, because like essentially I'm just a privateer with a job that's trying to ride like 3-4 days a week, wash my bike,
lot,
change the filters, change
you
the
ride
oil.
a lot actually, right?
At the moment, yeah
3-4 days is like a pro.
yeah, and I'm sore every day, and you gotta get up, and I'm like running when I'm sore, and then I'm like, I ran on Saturday morning before I went to Glen Helen. So it was only like a 25-minute run, and then I did that, got to Glen Helen at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I was the last person on the track, and I was fucking rinsed by the end of the day. I was so beat, but I'm just like, man, these guys are savages, like what they go through, and I'm not even doing, like I did a 30 and 2:15s. It's pretty weak in the big picture, but what you guys do and the lengths that you go to improve is just, it's insane.
Yeah, and it also comes with the physical training. I think many times we can improve a lot because we get better in the physical side. Also by doing more laps and a good speed, makes you understand better how you ride, and makes you search new limits. When you can only do it for 2 laps, it's hard to step it up.
So true.
When you can do it 15 minutes, a very good pace, or whatever, 30 minutes. 30 minutes all the time searching for a limit, it's not the same as just 2 laps searching for a limit, right?
That's honestly so true. And I think for anyone that wants to get better at riding, that was the thing that helped me. So like I went to, have you ever rode in Dubai?
No.
Dude, the track there, if you ever get to ride there, I actually have a Gas 450 if you ever want to ride it in Dubai, if you ever do a stopover. But I bought a bike there. We were there for like 3 or 4 months at the start of the year, and I just put my watch on my handlebars, and 20 minutes I'd stop. And dude, at the start, the track is 7 kilometers long. Jeffrey's actually been there before. 7 kilometers long of just the dry desert sand, and it's all whooped out, all up and down dunes. Like I had 2 huge crashes the first week I rode there because I fucking forgot where I was.
Yeah, so like it's so long.
I just couldn't remember. I thought that there was like a dune that I jumped to the right because I thought it was a right hand turn. I just jumped sideways into a set of sand whoops. But that, like the progression that you can make from basically like I'd put the stopwatch on for 20 minutes and I'd do like a lap and just be completely cooked. Like my tongue's in the back sprocket, and then you slowly start to make the 20-minute mark, and then once you can be on the bike for 20 minutes and then do it again, that's like 40 minutes of doing a fast trying to put in. You can learn so much more about your riding and how to improve by just being on the track for a longer period of time. And I think like at Glen Helen the other day, I was the last person out there. It was the very end of the day. It was a Saturday. The race is coming up, so the track was beat and it was dry. And at the end of the moto, or like a few laps in, you start to see your one line coming up, and you're like bringing the moisture out of it. It's like the coolest feeling. And so it's like just being out there, being in the game as long as you can. That's the thing that gives you so much more improvement.
Yeah, that's also, I mean, with us too, when you're riding, you always need to try and think when you're on the bike and ride with the head, and just try to see where you can get better, because I think it's something that the rider needs to feel too, Sometimes you're getting into a corner and you feel like that's your limit, and it's like, all right, if that's my limit, I will search it somewhere else, what I mean? And it will take some time, and then maybe whatever more time ahead, maybe you can get faster into the corner because you feel more comfortable. So sometimes also you need to know very good your limits, and if you feel like you're already like on your maximum, just take it easy, don't risk it. I mean, motocross, we all know it's a very for injuries and stuff, it's a difficult sport, it's dangerous, so we also need to think good when we ride and be clear, a clear mind when we are riding.
100%. So Supercross, you're here, you're riding Supercross. There's been some clips, I've seen you in the whoops. I was very impressed with the way that you were riding. What is your hopes? What's your plan? Not plans in concrete, obviously, but like, what would you like to do in America?
Well, at this time of the season, I had to take some time off, but I really wanted to come to US. I really wanted to come here and also ride, just to ride Supercross, right? I don't even ride outdoors here. Full Supercross for these 2.5 weeks and see how it goes. I need to have, I want to know what I want to do in the future, in the next year. So if I don't come over now, then next year it's maybe too late, you know what I mean? And I want to know now what I want to do in the next year. So that's why I came over. I want to see how I feel, if I like it, if I could see myself living around here. And that's something very important for me. So we decided, the team, the group support me, and we came over. I've been now riding for 3 days, Supercross. And I would say I'm enjoying it more than I expected. I already rode here in 2015 when I was 14. With the 250, I spent 2 months. But it was, long time ago,
You're a totally different dude now.
And I couldn't even remember the feeling I had riding Supercross like 8 years ago. Come on, it's long time ago. So I won the title. I say, come on, we go to US. They, like I said before, they all support me. Test track, bike ready. My mechanic came over. My training mechanic from Europe came over. So I have a good feeling because I have my setup. And
you kind of getting a look at what it would be like if you lived here.
Exactly.
Like your partner's here with you, your dad's here.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also have like the support from the whole group, from the Gas and from the KTM group. So everybody's out there at the track testing. Also the Husky guys are testing. So, I'm there in the mix. I can see Christian Craig riding, and I can, I have a reference from him. I have also Malcolm. I have 250 guys also riding. So it's nice for me to ride and not just by myself, because I also can learn from the rest. So it's very important for me to ride with other guys. And like I said before, I'm enjoying it. I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I need to see how it goes after these 2 weeks, and I don't know. I would like to also race something. I don't know, man. I'm lost.
A1, it's not far.
A1,
A1 is not far away, but it's also not so close that you couldn't be ready.
That's something that comes to my mind. I was coming here, I was driving, and I told my dad, when does A1 start, and when does...
January 7th, baby.
My birthday is on the 5th, so I said maybe it's a good birthday present, to ride an M1. And then I'm like, and the GPs, I think in March or something, 11th of March, still also a few months. I mean, can be possible to do both. I don't know. I should speak then with the team and everything to organize that, but
You could put together a pretty good program.
I don't know. I mean, but imagine if I do very well in A1. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
I respect all these guys are so fast. Like I was riding with them in the Supercross track, and you can feel, they've done so many laps, and so I respect them. I'm not trying to say here I will beat everyone, but I don't know. I also trust myself, and I don't know my starts, and I mean, there are, like you said before, so many months ahead still.
Yeah.
Not too many, but not too less too, to make some improvements. So just imagine what you do then. You stay or you come back and race GPs. Like it would be a bit crazy scenario, but I first need to do these 2 weeks of riding and see my progression, and then I don't know. I need to figure it out.
I think you stay. I think you just stay. I think you keep doing some Supercross, and then I think you do, you can do great outdoor training here. Like there's a lot of...
but if I race GPs, I should go back to Europe and put my time in motocross tracks in Europe.
Yeah.
Ride Lomo and all these tracks to get prepared for the season. And basically my bike for next year should be pretty similar from what I have right now. So I don't have, I guess, so much testing ahead. I also did a bit in Nation, like I said before. So I don't know. It comes to my mind to A1, but I'm also, committed to race MXGP next year. So,
but that's the beauty about the KTM group, is that you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like if you're out there, if you whole shot A1 and you put up a good showing, then that championship, I think that there's a pretty solid chance that you would just get to keep doing your thing. Like I mean, be hard not to run a number 1 plate though in the MXGP, but man, it's be so cool, like a bucket list thing. Like you said, you grew up only watching American Supercross.
I'm just 22, but I don't know. It's like I'm feeling like I'm in a good moment right now. Like everything is flowing good. Like I'm riding on the track and I feel good. I'm not scared about obviously the whoops. I mean, I need to enter into the whoops slowly, step by step, and I'm for sure by far fast, but I have a good base. Overall, I can turn fast in the Supercross track. I do all the rhythms. I do the whoops, not maybe like, for sure not like Malcolm and all these guys, but at my speed, and I only did them for 1 day. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to race A1. That's one of my dreams too. Also, one of my dreams was to be MXGP World Champion, and I did it. So I don't know. We only live once, and
hey, I hear you. I'm hearing you. So you've never been the guy that cares as much about records. Like I feel like
no. I just love riding. Yeah, I love riding, and if I'm out on track, I try to win. That's it. If I can win, I'm more than happy. If I don't win, then I will try hard to win the next time. That's myself, and always enjoy my riding.
Yeah, because I think that you get guys like Jeff and Tony that they want to win the records. They want to chase the records. They want the titles.
It doesn't give me happiness.
Yeah.
For me, riding these days, I'm like a kid, well, I am still a kid, but
it's cool to be
just riding, just riding my bike. And it's also nice because it's challenging, because it's something new.
Yeah.
If I go back to Europe, I still can improve a lot, but it's again going into the sand, into the roll-offs, into into the rain,
wearing a jumper.
Exactly.
And right here, you're eating Chipotle. The sun's out. It's like it's almost winter.
Nice. It's nice, and also they have like the KTM group has such a good facility over here in California with the test tracks and everything. And like, what's this? Also the workshops and stuff. Good people around, and I like the vibe here. It's nice. Everybody's quite relaxed too, and in Europe we also have a good vibe, but here it's like everything together. And I think like to start, it's a good base, very good base.
So you haven't spent much time around this bit here yet. Like you went to Ethica today to the headquarters, but that's it.
So we came on. So after Nations, I flew to Spain. I did some TV shows there. And then I flew.
What TV shows did you do?
I went to a very like La Resistencia. It's one of the biggest TV shows for. I mean, one guy is like an interviewer.
Oh, sick.
And then it's not really an interview. You just go there and you just talk with the guy, and I don't know. It's quite a big show in Spain. It's very, very famous, and it's nice because it came. You know, it comes to people that doesn't even know about motocross. Like, they're like, after the show, some singers start following me and sending me messages like to come to the concert, and I'm like, what is this? I didn't even know you knew about motocross.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
like a total different world, and some guys you wouldn't expect to ride you, you know, just because they see this show. Like I said, it's a very famous show, and it brings a lot of.
Do you know Miguel Huron? Is it Miguel Huron, the movie star dude, like the French? Is it
Miguel Herrán?
Yeah.
No, it's Spanish, not French. Miguel Herrán. He's from La Casa de Papel.
Yeah,
no?
Spanish. Yeah.
From the house of how you call it? No.
Oh, I don't know.
From Netflix, right?
Yeah. So he's a mad
I know. I met him in 2019.
Yeah.
In a MotoGP Jerez.
Yeah.
It was. I went there because I had one weekend off. And Red Bull wanted me to go there, and I was like, "Yeah, let's go experience." And I met him in one of the Red Bull places from the paddock, and he came to me, "Yeah, let's make a picture. I'm a big fan." I'm like, "Are you the guy I was watching last week on the Netflix when I was sleeping, like the series?" Yeah, it's like what.
Yeah, he's a huge moto fan. I was trying to get him on the podcast when I was in Barcelona.
Another guys from another guys that you wouldn't expect to, they like motocross. Like the years go by, and I see more people knowing the sport. It's not about like maybe they don't practice, maybe they don't follow, they don't know who's first in the world championship or whatever. But they know that there is a bike that makes jumps around a track, you know. So they know motocross.
Yeah.
And some other singers in Spain, they use motocross bikes for the video clips, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's nice. It's nice. So it's nice to go in these kind of shows because you.
That's how we build the global audience for the sport, because I think that. Man, like me and Ricardo talked about it on the podcast, like Ride to Survive. You know, like imagine if Netflix did a cool series on Supercross. Like, imagine in the stadium, the lights, the thousands of people, Jett, Deegan, Tomac, like the Barsha, the stories. Jorge Prado lines up in whole shots A1. Like, it's just, you know, we have such a crazy cool sport, and I think it's so on the come up too in these last maybe 5-6 years. I think it's really, you know, and guys like you are, I think, a huge part of that. I mean, in Spain, I just try to do the best I can. Obviously, it's hard for us because we train so much and we have such a difficult agenda that we are so focused on training and being ready for every single pretty much day of riding, just even on training. So even when we have a day off, I don't do this kind of stuff when I'm in the season. I'm focusing on recovering and doing whatever I need to do off the bike, you know. So right now, obviously, we are here just chilling a little bit, and I still did my workout this morning. So it's not that I'm just having some holidays, because I do this like a real test. Like I keep training and I'm doing laps on track. You know, I'm all day riding. It's not that I'm just doing 2 laps and I pop out. So yeah, it's I just try to do the best to make motocross a bit more popular in Spain. I think and I think guys like you are just doing such a good job, like just young, good looking, fun guy.
And I think it has some potential. I think it's a nice sport, and it has some potential for sure. Yeah,
I think if you are thinking about the US Supercross stuff, you guys should look around here. Like, this is a cool area to be based, and you know, like you can. Maybe the driving's like a little bit far.
You know, in that way, I'm also quite more Belgian style. Like, I prefer to don't be like. I prefer to be close to my track, to my work, let's say, and do what I need to do to be fit, or I need to be ready to race. So I don't want to do a 1 hour and a half driving or 1 hour driving to go. So when I'm in Belgium, we do that when we go to different tracks. But we have a good base in Lommel, and we also can go, to Lommel, which is 5 minutes away, and other tracks are not max than 1 hour. But anyway, if I need to do 1 hour every day, it's like I prefer to be closer to the track, like I'm now, like I'm 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
Easy. 15 minutes, I'm on the track. 15 minutes, I'm back home.
Yeah. Yeah, and
then I can do whatever I want, if I need to do some cycling or gym, I'm already ready to go.
Yeah. I think I'd be stoked to see you over here more full time. Well, full time. Like, do you have so your contract? I'm planning your Supercross career right now in my head. By the way, so you
love that.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it. It just would be so cool to see the best. Like, when was the last time we saw the best 450 rider from Europe come to race Supercross?
I don't know. Maybe Bale? Michel Bale?
Mate, dude, that was in the 80s.
Yeah, I think about that, right?
40 years ago.
Because 450 rider, so
450,
MXGP champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one, no?
Make history. I love it. That's what we're here for. But, that's the reality. Like, if you came over and did a full season of Supercross, like, that's huge for the sport. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Jean-Michel Bale was the last guy to do that. I mean, there's a lot. Like, Vial came over, 250, Porcel came over, Ken came over.
250, all of them.
Yeah. But no one...
450, it's a big deal because you get into, to the 450s. It's the main class, and everybody that gets into that one goes through the 250s, and all the experience you get also racing Supercross with the 250 and all that, and it's quite important too, but if I come to US, for sure I will ride 450 straight away. Yeah
because I think that's something that is challenging for people. Like, I've watched a lot of really good Australian riders come to America, and they were just killing it on 450s. Like, they were the man. They'd won 3 450 championships in a row or whatever. And then they come to America, and then you go back to a lights bike. And it's just like, that's not the move. Like, at no point should you be going, it's like you learning but you're almost throwing like a whole new challenge at yourself. Like, imagine if you were to go back to race the MX2 class right now.
I can't think about it.
Yeah. So it would be very special for you to do that. So you got a year locked in for MXGP, so 2024 MXGP contract's done and dusted, but then so 25 could be the first full crack at it.
Can I go to toilet and I tell you this?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Someone that loves motocross as much as you, and you just talk about motocross, and you can talk motocross for hours. Come on.
Yeah.
If you start talking about motocross, it's like we end up tomorrow. Like, at one point you gotta stop, otherwise you keep going.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, and, right, last question, and then you can
with
go.
With so many guys, you can't really talk because they like it, but at a certain point they're like, that's it. And I can see in your eyes and everything, like, you love this sport, and it's cool because I also love it. So for me it's easy to talk about this.
Well, it's just funny because it's like, it's kind of all I ever did or wanted to do, but like, it was just the way that life was set up. Like, I wasn't in a position to race properly, like I had to like, I got a bike when I was a kid, like young kid, and then I had a bad crash, and then I got hurt, and then my mum was like, nah, that's it. But my whole life just obsessed, like, just from being that young kid, and I had it, and then they took it away, and then it like completely made my life obsessed with bikes. I watched every video, I watched every DVD, every magazine, everything. And then I think I got a job when I was like 14 and saved up and bought my own. When I could just buy my own bike, I just bought my own bike, and then that was it. But it was too late to race and be so you end up. But I'm glad I would have never done it anyway. Like, this
but
works out.
We all can't be racers,
Yeah, 100%.
So I mean, we also need people like you that loves the sport still. If you are not racing, come on, it's nice. Even after my career, for sure, I don't even think about that. But I will always ride bikes because I love it. You know, even if I don't need to race, I just for the weekend or whatever, I will keep riding.
Yeah, it's a shit.
It's so cool.
So you got a 2024 contract for MXGP that, I don't know, maybe you win A1. Hey, weird dudes that won A1, all right? Like, it's not out of the, like, you remember, like, Davey Millsaps won it 1 year,
Yep.
Josh Grant won it 1 year, Barsha won 2
Yep.
years in a row. Like, it's that race where anyone can rock up and win. So, anyway, let's say you have 24 contracted for GP.
Yeah.
And then nothing fully contracted for 25.
No, I just only have contract for next year. That's it.
So, okay. So you win another world title and then be like, peace, I'm going to America.
Yeah, that's an option. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because it's changing a lot of things coming to America. But at the same time, it's a nice challenge. And it would be a dream to enter into a stadium with the lights, racing by night. And if I don't do it now, then for sure in 5 years I will not do it.
Yeah.
Then it's already, let's say, too late, kind of, to change my whole life just for a few seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but like I said, we only live once. So I got to do it. Like, it's like, doesn't matter, maybe this year or next year, in 2 years, 3 years, I got to do it. At one point, even if I don't see it 100%, I need to go. I need to do it because I need to feel the experience, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, have you ever been to a Supercross here? Like, you've watched them?
Yeah, I actually went 2015.
Oh,
so it was there.
here.
So
Yeah.
it was 2016.
Okay.
Anaheim won.
Yeah.
James was still riding.
Yep. I was at that race too,
really?
actually.
In San Diego won.
Yeah, okay.
So I did those two.
Was that the one Cooper won? Did Cooper Webb win that night on a 250?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Because Jesse was second.
Yep, I was
Jesse
at that one too.
Nelson was first, and Cooper came.
Yeah.
I remember training with Jesse. Was super fast. Oh man,
He's a cool dude, huh?
he was so fast. Like, I've never seen someone so fast going through the whoops.
Really?
Like, back then, I was like, what is this? But then he was struggling a bit more while racing.
Yeah.
But on practice tracks, like, crazy.
Yeah. No,
Was nice.
Well, I really hope that I get to see you at A1. I'll be there, and it would be pretty cool to watch you roll out opening ceremonies, rip a whole shot. Like, oh, let's go.
I mean, the whole shot, more or less, it's possible. You know what I mean? I have big possibilities. About the rest, we'll see.
Yeah, hey, I'm here for the story, though. You know.
Yeah, me too. I would love to make it happen. So we see how it comes.
Well, thanks for making this happen. I'm very glad that we got to sit down and do it. If we did it earlier in the season, you wouldn't have been champion yet, and it would have been on different sides of the world. So you're a champion now. We got to do it face to face.
Now it's easier to talk, right?
Yeah.
Because if we would have done this in the middle of the season, it's hard to be like.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about championships and all that because so many things can go wrong.
Yeah.
But now everything went well and better even than maybe expected. So it was crazy.
Yeah. Well, man, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm excited for the future for you, whether it's in Supercross here or in MXGPs. You're a awesome ambassador for the sport.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm pumped, bro. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.